Fresh off his Whitney win, Gunrunner is the talk of the town, but is he the new leader of the handicap division? He even carried a little extra cargo in his Whitney romp. If the shoe fits, wear it. Took on new meaning in the Whitney. We'll explain later on in the show. And another packed house and tremendous card on Sunday at Saratoga, including a showdown between the two horses who posted the biggest turf sprint numbers all year long. They go head-to-head in the Troy Handicap. Green Mask and Pure Sensation. Welcome to Saratoga Live. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Great to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon at the summer place to be and the premier meet in all the country. It's the Spa, Saratoga Racecourse here in Saratoga Springs. Great afternoon for racing. Another tremendous crowd. Welcome to the show. Greg Wolf here up on the rooftop with you. I'll introduce you to the rest of the team here coming up in just a moment. The Troy Handicap is our feature race, but we have racing coming up almost immediately on the show here right now. Race 6 will kick off the Pick 6 sequence today. 5.5 furlongs. It is a maiden special weight, and right now it is History Supreme for trainer Kieran McLaughlin, who was making his second start, an odds-on beaten favorite in his debut back at Belmont late June, who is the horse to beat right now. He is 5-2 on the board. Everybody else in this field making their career debut. Let's meet the rest of our crew and head on downstairs. New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling, one of the top trainers in the country, Tom Amos, and former New York Met, Paul Aduca.
Well, it's always fun to start our show with a race coming right up, and I think Greg touched on it. You've got one horse with experience on the outside, horse who got bet very heavily in his debut and failed badly. I know this horse has experience. I don't want this one as the favorite, Paul.
You know, I kept looking through this field, and I started landing on the favorite. And the reason why is, you know, the one horse supposedly working well in the morning, draws the dreaded rail. Rick Violette's horse, though, is getting a lot of money because when his horses do take money, they usually are very fast, and he's very, very good with his 2-year-olds.
Paul, the reason I think you kept coming back to the favorite who's on the outside and the only one with experience in the race is because none of these other horses, which are first-time starters, are showing a lot in their work patterns before this race. And when you look at the board and the odds on these horses, you see how spread out it is. The 4-horse, one of our first-time starters, comes from a barn that does very well with first-time starters in Richard Violette. That horse is second choice at 3-1, but experience is a great teacher. I keep saying that. And going 5.5 furlongs, you're going to have to leave the gate well. And if you've had a start, it's going to help you.
I picked the 4, but I want to just point out one thing quickly. We're going to head out to Maggie on the track. The horse who is really getting bet is the 6, Quick. Ian Wilkes' first-time stars at 6-1. That is live, Maggie.
That is very live. I'll get to her in 1 second, Andy, but I'll begin with the Rick Violette firster. That is number 4, Honey Graham in here, who worked 10-1 at the OBS March sale, and I liked what I saw from her. She's one of those ones that lowered herself nicely into stride. She's perfectly put together, very athletic frame, and Rick sends his horses over so fit they look like they've already run 3 times, and they usually break well too. So I like number 4, Honey Graham. Number 1 is Tied Up, cute name I suppose if by even the score, and she's a solid filly. She's got a lot of muscle mass and a lot of depth to her overall. She looks as though she would be quick, but as Polly said, she draws the rail. That's just never a good spot to be. Moving on to number 5, Desert Honeys. This one worked 21-4. That's on the slower side at the OBS April sale, and kind of had higher knee action, indicating to me that she might want a little more ground, but she is a beautifully put together filly, and she's big, she's scopy, and she looks fit here for Eddie Keneally. Andy, as you were saying, number 6, Quick. She is a fool to Viva Mallorca, and it was funny, she was acting up a bit in the paddock, but as Ian Wilkes reminded me, Viva Mallorca, he was very studdish and very full of himself in his first few starts, so it's nothing kind of out of the ordinary for this family. She comes in here fit. She's dappled head to toe. I'm just wondering if she's going to need a start as far as experience is concerned. Kieran McLaughlin, he sends out 2. Number 9 is Mockery. This one, a fool to Fortify, who was good as a dirt sprinter and a half to Bay of Plenty. He was better long. She looks as though she might be okay at this kind of distance. Good engine on her. Kind of very long back, though. And sometimes those horses, well, as far as conformation is concerned, they're a bit hard on themselves because they're so built downhill, and a lot of, energy is going to those front legs. So we'll see how she does. She did catch my eye. Greg, they're heading into the gate, always wide open with the babies.
Yes, it is, and this is one of the things we absolutely love about Saratoga, seeing what new stars will emerge with the tremendous 2-year-old racing here at the meet. Getting set for a start. They're about to load up here, and it is Kieran McLaughlin's History Supreme, the 10, who was the 5-2 favorite. Again, the only filly in the field. There she is with any experience at all. She was bet down to odds-on favorite in her debut. Showed some brief pace and then backed up to beat just one horse home. But as Tom Amos said earlier, nothing like doing it in the afternoon. There's just no substitute. So as a result of that, she is your 5-2 favorite with John Velasquez aboard. Of course, Kieran has another horse in the field right next door. As you take a look at the 7 there, that's Smarty Smart. But Kieran also with the 9, Mockery, who is making her debut. And she's on the board at 7-1. There she is, daughter of Distorted Humor and Joel Rosario in the silks of Godolphin Racing. It's the start of the Pick 6 here on this Sunday afternoon from Saratoga. Let's send it up to the voice of the Triple Crown for the call, Larry Colmus.
Next one up will be Honeygram, moving into stall 4 along with Mockery. And the last 2 to load are Desert Honeys and History Supreme, who's the current favorite at 5-2. History Supreme and John Velasquez coming up to the outside stall. They come forward and in. They're all in line. They're off. And a fast start for Tied Up from the inside. Going out to the early lead. It is Tied Up to the front. And on the outside, Honeygram is away running in second position. Then comes My Bronx Tale in third. History Supreme is fourth on the outside. Smarty Smart follows in fifth, 4 lengths off the lead. Then Ornamental Iron and Mockery. And then Wine Halo on the inside of Quick, Quick, Quick. And last of them all is Desert Honeys. 22.07 was the first quarter as they move into the far turn. It is Honeygram the leader, on top by a neck. History Supreme is second. Smarty Smart circles up on the outside third. And then it's My Bronx Tale running in fourth right behind the leaders, followed by Tied Up on the inside. Then Wine Halo. And on the far outside, Mockery. They're into the stretch. Honeygram on the rail. On the outside, Smarty Smart. History Supreme between them. My Bronx Tale is there too. Mockery is trying to make a move on the outside. 16th to go. Honeygram holding off the competition so far. Smarty Smart, My Bronx Tale, Mockery closing on the outside with Quick, Quick, Quick coming too, but it's Honeygram. Honeygram won it from Quick, Quick, Quick and Mockery. Then a photo between Desert Honeys and Smarty Smart and a final time of 1 minute 5.57 seconds.
Second choice on the board, Honeygram. First time out, daughter of Graham Hall for Rick Violet with Jose Ortiz gets the win, Andy.
This was a thrilling race, and I think probably a lot of good performances that we'll want to watch again. But I do think that the 4 Honeygram was best because she was the one that battled it out every single step of the way in a race that completely fell apart at the end.
Yeah, she broke very fast, and you could see the 7 and the 10 kept pressure on her. Focus on the 6, got dead left on the complete outside. And then he starts to roll. You mentioned that she was getting bet at the window, and she's going to outbob the 9. Both of those fillies ran huge.
They did. And remember, look, down the line, these horses don't care about 5.5 furlongs. They want to go further than this. So when you look at a horse like the 6 horse, Quick, 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 a trainer that doesn't win with horses first time out, but usually they get a very good educated ride, that is a horse to watch.
And it's interesting, Maggie mentioned how the 6 was a full de Vive Mallorca.
Yeah.
That's a closing sprinter.
Yes.
And the 6 didn't break that badly as much as just kind of lacked the speed. I tell you what, this was a good race. I'm looking forward to seeing all of these horses run later in the meet.
I'm with you. I think Mockery probably surprised Kieran McLaughlin a little bit more because I thought he ran well. But you're right. The best horse won the race. When you're carving out the fractions and getting it done, you know, she got all the work done. The 6 is a nice filly. That was a big move she made.
So it's Honeygram, first time out, and it was the 6. Quick, 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 out-dueling Mockery there in that photo for second. Deserts Honeys, the 5, checking in for fourth here for Eddie Keneally. But Rick Violet, Ralph Evans, Jose Ortiz, who has 2 wins on the afternoon. With the win, there's that photo for second. As you see, Quick, Quick, Quick getting the job done over Mockery, who ran well first time out for Kieran McLaughlin. Little surprising there. It is History Supreme did not run better, does not hit the board here in this 6 race to start off the pick 6. You can play along, watch from home as we show you all these races here on Saratoga Live. Get signed up and started. Go to NYRABets.com. If you bet 200, you get 200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5 to get signed up and started. NYRABets is available nationwide. So get signed up and started. Use that promo code PICK5. Of course, the late pick 5, you're going to get to see the entire sequence with us this afternoon. It is coming up next in the next race. And each and every day, except on Saturdays when we double it, if you play it through NYRABets, the single winner payout, $150,000. To be eligible for that, of course, you must play through NYRABets. And the only way to play that wager, if you don't reside in the state of New York, is to play with NYRABets as well, which you can do all across the nation. So that is coming up beginning in race 7. Gunrunner had a little extra to tote in the Whitney. A loose shoe that somehow wound up on his tail. And we got 2 of the biggest turf stars in sprints this year. It is Green Mask and Pure Sensation. They both ran lights out in their last start. They go head-to-head in the Troy later today. We'll be back.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With his much-anticipated first foals hitting the ground this year, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion, Lee, at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRABets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRABets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRABets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 and MSG+. It was a 4th annual Jockey Legends Day today here at Saratoga. A little extra reason to come out to the spa. Angel Cordero, Ramon Dominguez, Richard Migliori, Jean-Luc Samine, among those signing autographs throughout the afternoon and providing some great keepsakes for the fans. And race 6, the Jockey Legends race, which we just brought you, and it was Honey Graham getting the win. First time out. Nice debut here for the starter of Graham Hall out of the Montbrook mare. How about right now? Wins for Rick Violet, owned by Ralph Evans. Jose Ortiz collects his 2nd win on the afternoon. Let's head downstairs. Gabby Gaudet has more.
Thanks, Greg. Standing with trainer Rick Violet, who sent out Honey Graham. And Rick, you're always so good with your 2-year-old first-time starters, but you must have been really impressed by her performance coming down the stretch, batting off some of those challengers.
At the head of the lane, I thought she could get swamped, and Jose had to really use her, from the 5/16 pole to 16 pole just so he wouldn't get swamped. And I forget who kind of moved early outside of Johnny, and that forced everybody's hand. And she actually looked pretty comfortable inside the 16 pole, like she was going to win, and lasted getting a little tired, but she was terrific.
Is that always good to see them kind of face some challenges and then keep on going in terms of getting a lot out of a race first time out?
It is. It's what we try to do in the morning. Just let them be ridden. Let the jock call the shots and have them respond. Doesn't always work. Today it did. She broke really well. Let the speed go a little bit, and then took over when he asked her, and then dug in. So you couldn't map it out any better.
And as I mentioned, you're always very good with your 2-year-old first-time starters. What's the key to success in your opinion?
Again, we ride them a lot. They go where they're pointed, and that's the whole secret. Everything else is negotiable. Where the rider points, they're supposed to go. If it's a bus or the entrance to a stall door. So we ride them with that purpose. I don't breeze them terribly fast, but they're pretty well schooled. The best compliment a rider can give us is first time starting. Say, boy, she ran like an old horse, and it looked like that today.
Preparation, fitness, and a little bit of luck. That's what you got to have.
A lot of luck on the front end.
All right. Well, congratulations here, Rich.
Thank you so much.
All right, Greg.
Gabby, thank you. Yeah, a little luck never hurt, especially here at Saratoga, where each and every race is so competitive and everybody wants to win. We're getting set for the start of the Naira Bets late pick 5. It comes up here in race 7, 6 furlongs. For non-winners of 2 lifetime on the main track. The races we're bringing you this afternoon comprise that pick 5. Main track listed as firm. The turf course, or I should say fast turf course, listed as firm. So beautiful conditions here on this Sunday afternoon. And again, the 7th starts off the Naira Bets late pick 5. Race 8, mile over the inner turf. The 9th, we're back sprinting on the main track. Our feature, that Troy 5.5 on the turf, featuring Pure Sensation, who set a world record at 6 furlongs on the turf last year, and a former 2015 Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint winner, Mongolian Saturday. That field is so deep, he is going to be a huge price in that race. We'll close things out in the 11th at a mile and 16th over the inner turf. It all starts right here in Diamond Gym. Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez, 3 Diamonds Farm, and a drop in class. Will that be the trick here, guys, for Diamond Jim, who right now is the 3-1 favorite?
He feels like Diamond Jim is the speed inside in this race, and maybe that'll work for him. We do seem to have a track that's been playing more fairly, though.
Yeah, if you watch Diamond Jim, particularly in his last start, there's a couple of things that I find interesting about him. Number one, he carries his head higher than a horse should. And if you watch very closely at the end of his race, you're going to see him getting out badly underneath the rider, Jose Ortiz. Excuse me, I'm going back to Gulfstream, so that would be Johnny Velasquez. And I'm
this is his win.
Yeah, this is his win. But he's getting out a little bit on the turn, but at the end of this race, he really starts to get out. Now, he's cleared the other horse, and Johnny's going to just let him because he's tired of holding him in. But watch closely at the end of this race, Paul.
Yeah, this is a confusing race, a confusing horse, first of all. I watched this race, and probably should have came down that day, to be honest. He got gelded before his last start. Okay, so now for Todd Pletcher, you're gelding a horse you pay $120,000 for, and now you're in for $40 after going on the turf and running an awful race. It's the most confusing horse in the field, really, for me.
Well, he's kind of a give-up. I mean, they tried the turf out of desperation last time. I tell you a couple of things. I don't like that he's never run a dirt race in New York. Todd runs his good ones in New York overall, at least eventually.
Yeah.
Also, here's one for you. Turf to dirt with sprinters, his numbers are not very good. I don't trust this horse at all. I would use him defensively in a pick 5, but I would never bet on him.
So with the blinkers on today, Todd is saying, I'm going to take advantage of the one thing I've got going for me, and that's this horse's speed. You know what the game plan is here. We're going to go, and we're going to try and clear this group.
You have pick 5, Paul, right?
Well, that's the only way you can beat this field. Yeah, and I used the 1, and the only reason why I used Todd Pletcher is because I'm not going to get knocked out by him. I'm going to use 1, 2, 6, 8, 9 in this race. I really think, bar none, has got a giant shot in here. 1, 4, 11, Stormy Prophet, second time gelding. I thought ran way better. I'm going to use the 11, Nuts for Bolts for Richie Schosberg and Louis Saez. 1, 3, 5, 8. I had a single somewhere, and I'm singling Green Mask because I think he sits the trip with the 2 speeds in there. The last race is a scramble. Otto, another horse, second time gelding, I thought ran a lot better. And James Bond is just solid here at Saratoga. He employs Ricardo Santana, and then I'm going to use Joe's Bold Cat. There's cases for a lot in the last. Bellows, the 12, Escape Velocity. There's a lot of horses, but there you see that ticket there.
You used a lot of horses here. One horse you used that I like is the 8, Maybe a Diamond, going out for Charlie Baker. Obviously, we're hoping this horse off a 4 month later can run his race. Charlie had a very good meet last year. He was quiet in the spring winning in New York, but I think he's picking things up here.
Yeah, and he makes the right move, right? We're dropping in class here off the layoff. A lot of trainers will make that move knowing that you're not going to have a situation where the horse is going to get claimed necessarily. So although he's making this drop down off that layoff too, he's probably protected in this spot and taking advantage of that layoff to run for a claim for the first time.
He's got that one race on the page, Andy, that you're like, wow, if he just gets back to that, he kills this field. His other races where it's just sort of merry-go-round races, and I'm wondering if he needs the lead, but he might be quick enough. I thought I had to use him on the drop because when horses drop in class, their speed enhances.
Did you use the 11 Mutarami,
No,
speaking of horses dropping? Listen, I hear you. I don't trust him. It's interesting. Kieran McLaughlin, this is a horse, Mutarami, the 11, who's running first time for a tag, first time in a claiming race. Kieran McLaughlin doesn't have many starters. It's amazing. In 5 years, he's only had 14 horses going first time for a tag in the dirt. He's won with 3 of them with a $1 ROI. He doesn't run many, and they don't win.
Well, he's coming from another jurisdiction, too. He's run at Delaware. He's run at Parks. Karen McLaughlin, if he thought that horse was New York bound, I don't think he would have run in those jurisdictions. He's another one with speed, and he's got the outside, but I think he's got the ability, or really the lack of ability, to be anything other than a one-dimensional sprinter.
I'll tell you why
on the lead.
I'll tell you why I chucked the horse. And he basically gets beat by Unified in his first start. Okay? Then he comes back and runs third to the Player. Was a nice horse for Buff Bradley. Comes back at Gulfstream, wins at 20 cents on the dollar. You're supposed to. You go to Keeneland, you run into a pretty good field there, you get beat. Why the turf? 6-1, non-factor. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a 5-length lead and you're 20 cents on the dollar, you need to win that race. The 11 is a complete bet against Remy here.
He's lost 3 out of 4 races at odds on. Greg, we got some good races here today. I think there was a very good race yesterday. It was kind of lost in the shadow of Gunrunner's Whitney.
Yeah, and I seem to remember you two disagreeing on this one just a little bit. That was the Grade 1 test, 3-year-old fillies at 7 furlongs. And American Gal, she started her career with trainer Bob Baffert. She is now with Simon Callahan from Post 10. She actually broke outward in this race, and she still romped to win by 4.5 lengths, guys.
I'll give you the love, Andy. I'll give you the love. I liked Fabian. And I'll tell you what, when you run by a Bob Baffert horse like that, coming out of longer races, she was giant yesterday.
She really was good.
That one has to sting a little bit for a guy like Bob Baffert, who comes here, wins with what he brings. This horse used to be in his barn, not anymore. It hurts for a trainer to watch an ex-horse go by one of your own.
She does seem to be one of the few that was with Kaleem Shah, the Kaleem Shah that took from Bob that ran very well. Here's a question for you, Tom. The Ballerina against older horses, a Grade 1, comes up in 3 weeks. Would you consider taking a shot and running in that race?
No, for 2 reasons. Number one, 3 weeks, I want more time with a filly than that. And secondly, 3-year-old fillies against older mares, I would like to wait longer than that later in the year before I go do that. Look, by the time Breeders' Cup comes around, I'm okay with a 3-year-old running against a 4-year-old, particularly fillies running against older mares, but I would prefer not to do that in August.
Well, they certainly are looking to run in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint. She is that good.
Yeah, no doubt. That is the goal. She wins from post 10, taking a right-hand turn out of the gate, and she wins for fun. Here's trainer Simon Callahan on the win.
We wanted to keep it simple. Obviously, drawn out there, you know, it helped us not getting boxed in. A little wide, and obviously some strong fractions. And she came around and did it really impressively. She's just such a talented filly, and I think 7/8 is such a good distance for her. You know, as a 2-year-old, she stretched out to 2 turns, and she was still extremely good. But I think just to show her best, I think 7/8 is perfect. We'll take her back to California, and I think the plan will be to get her to the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint. I mean, there's always pressure with a high-profile filly like this, and it's just nice that she's keeps us calm under these situations and just goes out and does her stuff, so it's great.
Huge performance from American Gal, and yeah, the filly and mare sprint now clearly on her radar as they map out the rest of the year. We have our Naira Bets Late Pick 5 coming up. For more, let's head downstairs to Maggie, starting with Diamond Jim. Still the favorite, Maggie.
And I suppose he's deservedly so, as he will probably work out a trip, being the speed from the inside here. And boy, he is sharp as a likely pace setter in here, guys. He's also gotten a little bit warm, though, and I'm not saying that's totally out of character. He probably does have a little bit of that tendency to him. That's why we've seen him gelded in his previous efforts, effort at Belmont. He does have the blinkers today, just a very short cup on a runner who is offered up for the tag for the first time, but physically I can't really fault him too much, other than he does seem to get a bit on edge, a bit nervous here overall. And also to make reference to Tom's point about this horse getting out, he is wearing a Helton bit, which is one of the bits that you use predominantly for horses that have a tendency to get out or get in. It's a straight bar in the mouth covered by leather that is then around the horse's jaw with a metal piece. So when you touch a rein, it kind of pulls down on the horse's mouth and keeps them running straighter. It's a very effective bit to use for a horse that has a propensity to lug in or lug out. Moving on to number 8, that is Maybe a Diamond, who comes off a bit of a layoff here for Charlie Baker, but Charlie Baker needs no introduction as to his work with layoff horses. And Maybe a Diamond is a horse that has some stops and starts in his career, but he comes back in here today looking very good. He's dappled head to toe. He's nice, calm, and focused in here, and he looks fit. He's well muscled. He just looks strong to me, and I would lean on Maybe a Diamond, another horse that is offered for the tag for the first time here, Greg.
Maggie, great information. Thank you. As we get set for the start of this Naira Bets late pick 5, we'll have the post parade when we come back from a short timeout and look through the rest of this field coming up in just a little bit. There is Diamond Jim. For Todd Pletcher, those blinkers going on this afternoon for the first time in his career. Going to step aside. Cautious Giants equipment malfunction may have just become a good luck charm for Gun Runner in the Whitney, carrying that extra shoe on his tail. It was quite a ride in the Grade 1 victory. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Race 7 from Saratoga is next.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Jockey Legends Day continues here at Saratoga, and walking the red carpet there, Angel Cordero. First Puerto Rican ever inducted into racing's Hall of Fame, one of the best to ever ride a horse. Staple here at Saratoga, and a man he works with quite frequently right there, John Velasquez. Diamond Jim, the horse to beat still, guys, here in the 7th race to kick off this Naira Bets late pick 5.
He's the one to beat, but he's going to have some other competition. What about the 9 Bar None, Paul? Is that horse on your ticket? He gets back to his dirt race, his last dirt race 2 back. He can win. The Cassie Barn, though, is struggling at this
Yeah,
stage.
I mean, I like this horse. Lost to Shaggoff. At one time was an okay runner in his second start. He ran a dirt race and got gelded. They put him on the turf. Nothing happened there. And I'm wondering today, the cutback in distance a tiny bit. He's got a couple of races under his belt. And again, I think there's enough speed he can close into in here.
Hey, look, put a line through his last race, and he would be 8-5 in this race today. And you can put a line through it. It was on the turf.
I totally agree, Tom. I think Bar None is a very, very dangerous horse in this race. The 7 Holding Aces. Is he in your play? He's a horse that, if nothing else, could bother Diamond Jim.
Well, that's the problem. There's a lot of speed in this race, and a lot of these horses are what I like to call one-dimensional horses. They have to have the lead to win. They make their race in the first half mile. Look, he's one of them. Diamond Jim, our favorite's another. You move to the outside, the 10 and the 11 are also like that. This race, to me, is going to back up.
That's why I thought the 2's a player here, and Andy Redini. I know 20-1. I know that he needs to move forward. But you look, he's passed horses. There was a weak race last time out, but he had legit trouble. And you go back to his second career start, he beat 10 horses home.
I get that. I think you're totally on spot there. But what I don't like is the limited number of starts this horse has. 3 this year, 3 last year. They're having difficulty getting him to the races.
I think that's a fair point.
I'm with Paulie. I love Bar None in here. I know Mark Casse struggled. I think we're going to see him bust out. He's got a few live horses in this sequence coming up today. Diamond Jim kicks things off. Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez for 3 Diamonds Farm.
Going to try to wire this field from the inside on the drop down.
Redini, 21-1, trained by Dale Romans with Luis Saez.
And don't dismiss this horse on the drop. I think a horse that has at least closing pace could be dangerous in here with a lot of speed signed up.
Jimmy Ryerson trains Luminary Flight and Kendrick Carmouche in the irons.
Well, he's another horse that could close if they go fast up front, but he will have to improve.
Here's Asian's Way, filly by Trap Shot, who was second here in the Vanderbilt, ran a 112 buyer on the surface for John Toscano Jr. and Dylan Davis.
Old California horse won her first race, and she's 0 for 10 since then.
Saratoga Charlie, big price here for Leah Jeremiah with Rajiv Mirage and Pinnacle Farms Racing.
Hey, she's a big price for a reason. He's a big price for a reason. He doesn't look fast enough on paper.
Legal Precedent, a lot of seconds with this 4-year-old by Posse for Michael Trombetta.
It seems like she always hangs just a little bit, but she does get a live rider, an Irad Ortiz Jr. She'll be coming late.
Holding Aces comes in from Delaware for Chris Englehart with Manny Franco.
He coming off a little bit of a layoff for Chris Englehart after being eased last time. He's got the speed to be part of the pace if he runs his race.
Charlie Baker trains the 8 May Be a Diamond with Joel Rosario.
You know, this is a horse, if he gets back to one of his races, he could really destroy this field, but he's just a little bit out of form. Now they drop.
Turf to dirt with Bar None. Here is the 9 for Mark Casse, and Jose Ortiz aboard. He has 2 wins already today.
A very dangerous player getting back to the dirt for the Casse Barn.
Main Road is the 10 here. 12-1. Ricardo Santana Jr. for Juan Marquette.
2 starts ago, lost at 30 cents in a dollar, has lost at 50 cents in a dollar, has lost at 80 cents in a dollar, and is going to lose at 5-1 today.
Strong words from Paul there in the 11 for Shadwell Stable. Mutarami for Kieran McLaughlin with Paco Lopez.
Actually, Paul already talked about Mutarami, so I'll talk about Main Road, the horse, the 10 horse. He did meet a tough field with a lot of pace last time out.
And I think some of that money that was burned up might have been Paulie's there, the way that he was talking about Mutarami.
Me too.
$112,000 in this Naira Bets late pick 5 pool. As we get a look at Asian's Way there warming up, the son of Trap Shot. Won the True North by 8.5 lengths at Belmont. There he is on the farm in Paris, Kentucky. He's part of that stallion roster at Claiborne Farm. And again, followed up that True North win right here at Saratoga with a second miss by a nose in the Vanderbilt that was too good to lose. A 112 buyer figure in that race. His top runners from this year, Wild Shot in the Grade 3 Pat Day Mile, Untrapped. He was second in the LeCompte and Risen Star. Of course, last year, Fish Trap Road won the Dwyer. My man Sam, second in the Bluegrass. There is the son of Trap Shot out of the Proud Citizen Mare for John Toscano Jr. Of course, Trap Shot now standing at Claiborne Farm as we get set 3 minutes to post here in this 7th race. Diamond Gym, I should say, for 3 Diamonds Farm. 5-2, clicks down another half notch here on the board. He moves turf to dirt, the son of Gemologist. He won his 2nd start of his career. He did so at Gulfstream. How will he fare here in his New York debut on the main track? We'll be back.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
And they're off. NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at nyrabets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on nyrabets.com right in the bet type drop-down menu or at any Nyra track or New York OTB location. NyraBet's Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. Now they're just about to get in the starting gate for race 7, and here with 3 Diamonds Farms, Kirk Wyckoff sending out Diamond Jim. And quick thoughts on Diamond Jim in here. He gets the blinkers on for the first time. What was the purpose for that?
Very talented horse. He got out a little bit in the race at Gulfstream. We'll make sure he runs straight down the lane.
All right. Well, always a pleasure to see you out here. It's got to be great to run a horse here at Saratoga.
It is. Love to be here. Great place.
Best of luck here as we send it back up to Greg.
Thank you.
Gabby, thank you very much. And there is the 3 Diamonds Farm runner, Diamond Jim. He's the 5-2 favorite as he drops in for a claiming tag for the very first time. Turf to dirt move as well, and the blinkers go on. There's a look at the 9, who we've talked quite a bit about. It seems like everyone, the guys downstairs as well, like that 9 horse who just left our screen, bar none. Jose Ortiz, a couple of wins on the day, will be aboard. There's Joel Rosario, you just saw, and maybe a diamond, the 8 and major player in this race as well. It's the start of the NyraBets late pick 5. Our pool up and over $160,000 this afternoon. Again, if you do not reside in the state of New York, the only way to play it is with NyraBets. Let's send it upstairs for the call. The voice of New York racing, Larry Colmus. Take it away.
Bar None has moved into line. Here's Saratoga Charlie and Main Road, and Mutarami will be the last one. Mutarami comes up and in. They're all in line. They're off. Luminary Flight a step slow to start. Good beginning for Holding Aces, who goes out to lead them early. And from the rail, it's Diamond Jim, these two to dispute the early pace. And right behind them is Reed Deeney on the inside. In between horses comes Saratoga Charlie. And farther out are Main Road and Route Tarami. Brink of another 3.5 back to Bar None. Legal Precedent is next. And then it's Maybe a Diamond, Asian's Way on the inside. And Luminary Flight, 22.26 was the first quarter as they make their way around the far turn. It is Diamond Jim on the inside, fighting for the front with Holding Aces. Mutarami a length and a half behind them. Break of another 4, and they're being followed on the inside by Saratoga Charlie and Main Road to the outside. Then it's Bar None. The half was 45.59, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. Holding Aces has taken the lead here. A 20-1 long shot. Takes over with 1 furlong to run and opens up by 4. Main Road is moved up into second. Legal Precedent takes third, but it's Holding Aces and Manny Franco, and they're all alone. Holding Aces dominates the field at 20-1. And then it was Main Road second, Legal Precedent in Asian's Way in 1 minute 10.79 seconds.
Third biggest price on the board. It is Holding Aces. We've been waiting for Manny Franco to get going at this meet here a little bit after a tremendous Belmont meeting, and Tommy gets the win here.
Yeah, he does. You know, I'd heard some information that this horse had been sick going into that last race. That's why he was eased that day. They got him healthy again. I still didn't see this one coming.
No, I didn't. I didn't think he would clear, because you're looking at this race thinking, okay, the 11 was going to at least press. A lot of other horses are going to press. This horse just outran everybody, and no one starts running here, Andy, besides the 10, the 6, who always does come with a late run, but no match.
Nobody closed into this pace at all, and we were watching it down here. When you see that kind of separation in the field, you know they're moving up front. If you've been watching race here, 22 and 1/5, 22.26. That's a very fast first quarter. This horse was much the best.
Puts away Diamond Jim. And yeah, it was these two up front early on. Manny Franco, Chris Englehart, Island Wind Racing. And you heard in Larry Colmus's call, this horse just opened up and puts this field away. It was not even close here. Holding Aces a ton the best here. And another long shot in second, third, and fourth. How about these exotics? 20-1 over 13-1 over 11-1 over 13-1. But a 20-1 shot starts off the Naira Bets. Late pick 5, Holding Aces, coming in from Delaware. Horse who was eased and walked off in his most recent start. Did not even finish the race. Gets the job done here at Saratoga at a monster number. Prices coming up in a moment. You can get signed up and started and play along as you watch all these races we bring you here on Saratoga Live by going to NairaBets.com. Bet 200, you get 200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5 to take advantage. Naira Bets is available nationwide. Go to NairaBets.com to get signed up and started. Well, the Whitney, it was quite a run for Gunrunner. We're going to have Fact or Fiction coming up as the handicap division change. That's just part of Fact or Fiction next.
Claiborne Farm is proud to offer the regally bred Orb. The son of Malibu Moon compiled a 5-race winning streak that included the Fountain of Youth and Florida Derby. In the Kentucky Derby, he defeated rivals Will Take Charge, Oxbow, Golden Sense, and Palace Malice. Now the millionaire racehorse is garnering big checks for breeders. In the auction ring, Orb is the #1 sire of his crop, with first yearlings selling up to $450,000. Now is the time to book your mare to Orb at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
We're back on Saratoga Live. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday afternoon. There's Manny Franco dismounting from Holding Aces. This is going to be a funny game sometimes. He was an odds-on favorite at Delaware in his last start, and he didn't even finish the race. He was eased and walked off. Today at Saratoga, a 20-1 long shot, and he gets the job done and pays $43.20. Wins for Island Wind Racing, trained by Chris Engelhardt, who's standing by with Maggie Wolfendale.
And Holding Ace is pretty dominant here, Chris, in this race. And a horse that obviously had some trouble in his last start, gave him a little more time, and it paid off today.
Yes, I give the owner a lot of credit for this one. You know, back when we claimed him, he had a lot of issues, and I told him we had to do a lot of stuff, and he had the confidence in Manny and I to spend the money and take the time. So I was glad it worked out for him.
And Island Wind Racing, obviously your owner, they do have a lot of patience and they do support you a lot. How important is that to be a trainer in this game?
Means everything when you got a chance to, you know, work with the horses and get them the way they need to be, you know, so.
And you had the whole family here, the grandkids, the wife, everybody for your first win of the meet.
Yeah, it's nice to, Jeremiah just called me, he was going to congratulate me. I said, geez, I feel like I'm part of the family again.
You mean they were going to excommunicate you?
What's that?
They're going to excommunicate you?
Right, yeah.
And I must say, your grandson, he's a big Jose Ortiz fan. It looked as though he was a little upset that Manny was on your horse.
He's crying on the way out here, so, but he does that even to his dad, so I don't feel too bad about it. He's a big Jose fan.
He is. Well, we're a big fan of yours. Congratulations here with Holding Aces.
Thanks a lot, Maggie.
Greg?
Chris Engelhardt, high fives all around, gets the win here in race 7 and gets his first victory of the meet here at Saratoga here in summer of 2017. Well done with Holding Aces. 5-year-old Ridgeling by Escandarea out of the Broken Valmare. Will Away for Island Wind Racing. Kicking off our NyraBets late pick 5 with a little fireworks here to kick things off. And let's take a look at the pool. $170,000 in the NyraBets late pick 5 pool. And safe to say quite a few people probably knocked out in round 1. Long way to go, however, if you are still alive, but you'll love to see it start that way if you had Holding Aces. 8th race as we move along, 1 mile over the inner turf. New York breds in an entry-level allowance race. Linda Rice has been having a tremendous meet here at Saratoga, and Storm Prophet opens up here as the 2-1 favorite. Was the 2-1 morning line favorite as well. Irad Ortiz Jr. will be back aboard in the irons, just missed by a neck back on July 16th. This is continuing again. I want to remind everyone to play the Saratoga Showdown, a free online game. Following along with all the races this afternoon, you can create a mythical bankroll, not risk any of your own money, and get introduced on how to play the races and play for some real prizes as well, including a 2018 Belmont Stakes prize package valued at $2,000. Go to SaratogaShowdown.com or Nyra.com to get involved. Time now for What's Trending, and this is not only the talk of the town here at Saratoga, this is the talk of the country. Everyone talking about that loose horseshoe that somehow got entangled in the tail of Gunrunner in the Whitney. We want to thank Barbara Livingston for letting us show this tremendous picture she was able to get of his win in the Whitney, and somehow it just got caught in there. That was the shoe of the Rabbit Cautious Giant that somehow came loose at the half-mile pole, shot up 10 feet in the air, and landed in the tail of Gunrunner. And there's the Racing Onion, Asmussen, excited to launch new line of hair shoes. We love the Racing Onion. They're hilarious, and that is a very happy Steve Asmussen right there after a tremendous victory. And let's show you what exactly happened in here. So again, the Rabbit in the race at 63 to 1 shot, Cautious Giant. It comes loose as they approach the half-mile pole. It shoots about 10 feet up into the air. It would bounce off of the back of Gunrunner, get entangled in that tail, and there you can see it just flopping right behind him. And he does not skip a beat as he comes back to the winner's circle. It is still in there. It was so tightly wrapped, his handlers actually had to tear some hairs loose out of the tail before they were able to get it out. It was quite a scene, but it did not bother guys Gunrunner in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, didn't seem to matter. It just seems like it's a big story, but Tom, it just didn't matter at all.
Yeah, what? Maybe he carried a half a pound over based on that shoe.
You ever use the shoe and the tail excuse for an owner? Because it could be a new one.
Look, I'll put it in my repertoire. Anything might work, you know. But horseshoes are good luck. It got him home.
Oh gosh.
It was actually facing down, right? So that means the luck is draining out. So it's got to be the other way. Or maybe that's just another myth that's been destroyed.
True, but when you watch it, you can totally see there it is. Boom. Wow. I mean, it's like insane that it literally flips up in the air about 6 to 7 feet, lands in his tail, and you could see for a little split second down the lane, his tail was going up and down. I was like, what was that? And it was sort of dragging on the ground.
So those horses are going over 30 miles an hour. What are the chances that you lose a shoe and it still stays up with the horses and it falls on the tail?
I will say, though, it is an interesting way to use a rabbit. Maybe you can't beat him, but maybe you put a little extra weight on him. Still couldn't stop Gunrunner.
What a way to win that race, and doing it with a little flair, too, with an extra horseshoe on. He had 5 shoes in all. After the race, Maggie Wolfendale caught up with trainer Steve Asmussen and asked the question inquiring minds want to know about the loose shoe.
Have you ever had a horse finish a race with 5 shoes?
No. I received multiple congratulations and texts, but twice as many did you see that? And I don't think you could. You know, to have that happen in any race is so improbable, let alone with Gunrunner in the Whitney at Saratoga. I don't think I'll ever see it again, and I would choose not to. And just very, very lucky didn't hit him in the head, and that watched the tape, and with this pretty long tail, it kept it out away from him. It didn't ever come into contact with him until he came to a stop, which is very fortunate because. It just, like you said, never seen it before.
Strange things you see in racing, that's for sure. And your assistant, Scott Blasi, he had to kind of pay to get that shoe back.
Yeah, the help walking back gave him the shoe, and he misunderstood him, and they thought it was Gunrunner's shoe, but not that it was. I mean, what in his tail? But he looked at it and said, "This isn't Gunrunner's," and tossed it aside. And then when he got several, "Did you see that?" himself, he went back and had to purchase the shoe back. But anyways, we were definitely going to keep that as a memento, because if you told the story without the proof, I don't think you'd have many believers.
Well, it made the Whitney win even that much more interesting, but it was a lights-out performance, guys, from Gunrunner. We're going to go game show on everybody right now. We're going to call this Fact or Fiction. We're going to get all you guys involved and see what you think about some of the hottest topics in the game right now. Maybe we can make it a weekly segment. So, Andy, I will start with you. Fact or Fiction with Gunrunner's win in the Whitney. He has overtaken Arrogate as the top older horse in the country.
Fiction.
Fact or fiction?
That's fiction. He has not overtaken him. Now, If Arrogate loses the Pacific Coast Classic, then we can talk.
You okay with that?
Am I not?
Well, you
totally
put your head down.
Not
I
okay
didn't.
with that. You think Arrogate is still the horse of the year?
Yes, he is.
If
Because
you
I'll tell
voted
you why.
right now?
Okay, what you saw yesterday.
chance.
Okay, what you saw yesterday, right?
Right.
Arrogate got left and still passed that horse.
Can we replay the argument that Tom and I had about Frosted last year when he was talking about California Chrome and he had only won the Dubai World Cup and Frosted had won the Met Mile and the Whitney, and you acted like I was crazy for suggesting Frosted is the leader at that point for the horse of the year. But apparently you don't even have the memory to remember your arguments from last year.
Look, first of all, last year you said races from out of the country don't count, which is
and now
fiction
you're saying,
too.
And now you're saying they don't count apparently.
But Gunrunner is the best horse in training right now. Period.
Tom
Sorry,
is completely wrong on this one. Andy wins round one. It's not even close. All right, Tom's going to start off our second question here on Fact or Fiction. Using a rabbit in a race doesn't work anymore. Of course, we saw Cautious Giant as the rabbit in there. Paco Lopez actually slowed things down. Look at your video, guys. Clearly, using rabbits does not work.
Tom's rabbit would just cross the wire, I think.
So I'm going to say fact with a caveat. And the caveat is, if you're going to have a rabbit in the race, let's go a little faster than 48 and change for the opening half mile and not be sitting like this on the rabbit. The idea is to send, to get him out in front of the rest of the field.
It's incredible how many rabbits I've seen get rated. And I know one thing. If my man Tom Amos puts a rabbit in a race, they're going fast early.
You better believe it.
I agree with these guys. We take another look at the rabbit there. Yeah, it does work. You just, Paco Lopez, you got to keep speeding things up. Maybe they get too competitive. They want to win the race. Paul, fact or fiction as we get you involved here. The favorite in the Travers will be 4-1 or higher.
Oh, I like this.
Well, I think it's going to be fact because I think you're going to get a giant field, obviously, with a lot of horses trying to go for the 3-year-old division or the horse of the year in the 3-year-old division. And let's be honest, we might not see Always Dreaming in the race, Cloud Computing. I think we probably will see it. It depends, but I think you're going to see a lot of new shooters. So with those two horses running as bad as they did, that is complete fact.
Maybe it's going to be Good Samaritan, too. Andy, fact or fiction, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner has not debuted yet.
I'm going to say fact. I think the Breeders' Cup Philly Juvenile winner might have run. The only thing I will say is maybe the horse has debuted, but I don't think has won yet.
I'll give you that. I mean, usually we see some spectacular performances here at Saratoga, and I think they're still to come.
We haven't seen that one
motivation.
He was good. He was good, but not that wow, you know?
Yeah, Philly Andy was talking about, I think I know who you mean, separation of powers was sensational for Chad Brown first time out. Perhaps it is her for the juvenile fillies. Tom, our last one here on Fact or Fiction. If Tom Amos doesn't win a race soon, he will start tying shoes to all of his horses' tails.
I don't know, but whatever the answer is to that, I know my wife is working on that and praying every night and doing the rosary that I win a race up here.
Here's the thing I don't understand. Luis Gonzalez got a hit off of Mariano Rivera in the World Series. They sold his gum on eBay, the one he spit out. Why can't we sell Gun Runner's shoe that was stuck to his tail on eBay and donate it?
I got one final question for you guys.
I was thinking the same thing, Paul. That shoe should be sold and donated to some sort of horse rescue charity.
Yeah. One final question for you guys. Was it the over or the under? I'll set it at $99. How much did it cost Team Gunrunner to get that shoe back as a memento?
Over.
Over.
You are all correct.
And look, that's a sharp person that took that shoe.
Yes, 100%.
I commend that. I commend that fan.
Not like those fans that get the baseball and it's worth all that money and they give it to the guy for an autograph. I mean, believe me, if it would have been LaDuca's ball, the guy, he would have paid.
Thanks, Andy. My autograph just went down a couple bucks.
That was our first edition of Fact and Fiction. Went pretty well. I think we're going to have to keep that around. Race 8. Start of the pick 4. We have 346,000 already in this pick 4 pool. It's a mile on the inner turf. New York bred entry level allowance condition. Let's check in with Maggie for more.
Taking a look at one coming off of a layoff here. That's number 3, Ode to the Hunt. Also returns as a new gelding here for Rick Violet and getting back on his preferred surface here. And I've always been a fan of this horse. He's a big, scopy, good-looking son of Artie Schiller. A lot of them tend to be. personality-wise, demeanor-wise, he's still acting the same. It looks as though gelding hasn't really changed him in that sense, and a lot of times that is the case when you geld him a little bit later in life, now as a 5-year-old. He does come back here extremely fit, so I tend to like Rick's horses coming back off of layoffs. He kind of does well when they get a freshening, so I think Ode to the Hunt's very interesting, making a first appearance as a first-time gelding. Moving on to one coming off a little less of a layoff, that's number 11, Nuts for Bolts, and he kind of moved up nicely on the turf. He looks great to me. One of the best times I've seen him here for Rick Schosberg. We'll see how he does as he currently sits at 7-1. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you very much. Yeah, 7-1 there on Nuts for Bolts from that outside slot. Luis Saez will be aboard for trainer Rich Schosberg, trying the Saratoga turf for the first time. New audience joining us right now for this Pick 4. Welcome to Saratoga Live. There is Green Mask. He was dominant in a Group 2 win at Woodbine in his most recent starts. Javier Castellano will be back aboard for trainer Brad Cox. And of course, Pure Sensation. He was the world record holder at 6 furlongs on the turf last year until his stablemate bested it this year in the very same race in the Grade 3 Jaipur. Those two horses have posted the biggest numbers in turf sprints all year long. They go head-to-head in our feature race later today. That is the Troy Handicap here on Saratoga Live. It's brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Great to have you with us here on this Sunday afternoon from the premier meet in all the country, the spa here at Saratoga Springs. Greg Wolf alongside the rest of the crew who you'll meet here momentarily. Welcome to those joining us on Altitude Network. A beautiful day here at Saratoga as we get set for some fantastic racing coming up for those just tuning in. That Troy Handicap is absolutely loaded. Those two horses, and we didn't even mention a former Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint winner in that field as well. You can get signed up and started, play along all the races that we're bringing you this afternoon with Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com. If you bet 200, you get 200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5 to get signed up and started. You can get signed up all across the country. Pick 4 begins here in race 8. We have almost $400,000 in the pool as we get a look at Jersey Joe Bravo right there, who's had a nice start to the meet here. He'll be on board the Great Samurai. Send it downstairs to Andy Serling, Paul LaDuca, and Tom Amos for more.
I am surprised to see the 4 Shiraz as this big a price. Now, you could accuse me if you were with me in New York every day. You know I've liked this horse and been wrong about him to a certain extent. But he has had excuse, and it's interesting. He's been compromised by paces 2 straight times. So last time they got more aggressive with him, and he ended up getting caught up in a super fast pace. Now he's stretching out to 2 turns in a mile, but he's run well enough at a mile in the past. I think he's the horse to beat.
I'm with you. Hey, because you know why? I think it's a indictment on the rest of the field, because when you look at the rest of these horses, now Ode to the Hunt's got a shot, but 3 back, man, he looked like he was going to win that race, and he just didn't. He couldn't go by. Stormy Prophet hit the front last time out and then got passed. I thought ran a giant race. So you can make excuses for the horses that are getting bet here. And Andy's right. The 4 could be gone if nobody wants to run with him early.
Well, I think Peculiar Sensation, the 2-horse, will go with him. He's coming off sprints. He's never been 2 turns in his life. He only knows one way to go mentally, and that's a lot quicker than what this field should be going at this distance.
I don't disagree. I don't even know if Shiraz will be in front. I just think he fits very well in here. I do kind of like the 3-horse Ode to the Hunt, but why don't we talk about him after? Oh, there's the 3. We'll talk about Ode to the Hunt. I agree. He's got a lot of hang in him, and we can talk about that race maybe now or later where he hung 3 back. But he's also had some trips. I wonder if gelding him may help him get over that. Maybe a mile might be the perfect distance for him.
I think that's why they did geld him, because when you watch his races, he comes around, he has a clear path. No excuse, right? Horses sometimes are like that. They don't have that competitive edge. Gelding them can make a big difference.
He got high-headed in that race. Would that suggest that to you, Tom, as a trainer?
If you tell me he got high-headed, now I'm starting to think about his breathing a little bit, because oftentimes horses that get their head high, are having trouble getting their air.
Okay.
Post parade coming up here for the 8th. And our favorite right now, Storm Prophet, missed by a neck after taking the lead in the stretch in the most recent effort at Belmont back on July the 16th. And now Irad Ortiz Jr. back aboard for trainer Linda Rice. That's what will kick things off here. Son of Tail of the Cat for Blue Bison Stable.
Yeah, and this is a horse that's got a big shot off a big effort last time out when sort of broke flat-footed but made a giant run. 1 for 11 lifetime. Your favorite?
Yeah, he's a 2014 Fasig-Tipton New York bred yearling sales grad. The 2, Peculiar Sensation for Nick Esler. Joel Rosario rides.
Yeah, this is a horse that's making the transition from one-turn race to two-turn races. Look for him to be in front early.
Guys, we're talking about this one just recently gelded. Ode to the Hunt for Rick Violet with Jose Ortiz.
This is a horse that, you know, during the winter, you can't run turf races over the inner dirt, so they've been waiting for this maybe. A first-time gelding could get over the hump. 0 for 7 the last 2 years.
Shiraz is the 4, Javier Castellano for Mike Maker and 3 Diamonds Farm.
Yeah, stretching out to 2 turns after being very competitive in these type of races going shorter.
Funky Monkey Stable sends out the 5, Yummy Bear, trained by David Dunk with Manny Franco.
Another horse that could be forwardly placed and sit a good trip and maybe a confidence builder off a nice little win last time for 40.
Another David Dunk runner, their graduate of the 2015 Fasig-Tipton New York bred yearling sale, the Great Samurai with Joe Bravo.
Look, he has 2 really good efforts in his last 2 starts, but he's going to have to step up to be competitive with these.
Manifest Destiny is the 8 for Chalk Racing in our Sugar Bear stable, trained by Bruce Brown with Eric Cancel.
Another one that's looking to step up, but doing it off a very good effort as well.
Jose Lezcano will be aboard EJ's Legacy for Chris Engelhardt.
I thought he ran good last time. He chased sort of a fast pace. Storm Prophet came from way back. He was the lone horse up front that stayed around late.
Yeah, Barn looking to go back-to-back. And here is Nuts for Bolts, the 11 for Rich Schosberg with Luis Saez.
Shocked him in the inner dirt on March 19th at 60-1. But then he proved that he's a real horse. Big rider change here. Luis Saez in the irons. I think a live horse here at 7-1.
That is your field for the start of this late pick 4 pool up and over $430,000. We're going to take a break in the action, the opening leg of the sequence when we come back to Saratoga.
And they're off. NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NyraBets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NyraBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any Nyra track or New York OTB location. NyraBet's Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Selected sales, superior results. Success starts at Saratoga, the #1 ranked yearling sale in North America.
Eclipse Award-winning Songbird was bought at Saratoga Fasig-Tipton. Where will you be this August?
Eclipse champion Stellar Wind is a Fasig-Tipton Saratoga grad. Where will you be this August?
The Fasig-Tipton Saratoga sale, August 7th and 8th. Where will you be?
Claiborne Farm presents Trap Shot. This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer is now an emerging young sire. His top runners include Fish Trap Road, winner of the Grade 3 Dwyer Stakes, plus 2-year-old stakes winner Mirai, graded stakes place Quick Release, and Grade 1 performers My Man Sam and Wild Shot. Already ranked among the nation's leading sires of 2-year-old winners, Trap Shot has the speed, the class, and the pedigree to remain Tappett's top sign. Trap Shot at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. That new Naira logo waving there in the background through the starting gate there. We're getting set for race 8 coming up. Over $500,000 in this late pick 4 pool. It is still Storm Prophet who is favored for trainer Linda Rice. But downstairs, Andy has more on Ode to the Hunt, who's getting back on grass and will do so first time since he's been gelded.
Well, I think we should show the race that we were talking about a little bit. And this is 3 back for Ode to the Hunt. And obviously his next 2 races were dirt races. So this is the last relevant race. I got to tell you, I bet him this day. I loved him this day. They turned for home. I said, give me the money. And he hung like a chandelier.
Yeah, give me the money. Never mind. Give me the place money.
God, he looks like he was home, right?
Yeah, he actually runs 3rd in this race. I mean, he has a clear shot at this group. Andy, to me, they're not going that quick at the end. If he's going to have the punch that he needs on the turf, he should have showed it that day. But I'll give you this. First time gelding, and that could make a difference.
And I'll tell you why. The beginning of that race, he was very unsettled. He was throwing his head a little bit, and he hangs. It might have took a little sting out of him. So maybe the gelding will help him settle early, because if he can settle early, that kick will be a lot more.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens. Gabby, what do you think?
Well, I actually got the chance to talk to Rick Violet about first-time gelding with this particular runner, and he did say, I asked if he saw any significant changes in this horse both in the morning and today in the afternoon, and he said, really, he's just been pretty even keel in the mornings. He hasn't seen a significant change in him since gelding, and really, they wanted to geld him for quite some time. The opportunity came about during the winter where there was no turf racing. He said, if anything, he's actually thrived since just having some time off. So hopefully he can be a little bit fresh coming out of the gate, because this is a horse too who has been pace compromised in the past. Now the 4 Shiraz is another horse that I was looking at, guys, but even looking at him first time when I saw him down at Gulfstream in the Cutler Bay, to me he looks like a horse, and he very well could get the mile today. I don't think it's a big ask, but to me he always has looked like a horse that prefers shorter distances, and in the Cutler Bay we saw the turf be very kind to speed. Horses not really making up a tremendous amount of ground, so I thought the turf might have helped him that particular day. But he's 3-1, an okay price as the money goes to the 1 Storm Prophet. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Gabby. Now at even shorter price. This is the lowest we've seen Storm Prophet on the board. The 1 horse down to 9-5. He's been favored throughout here for trainer Linda Rice. Solid betting favorite here in this 8th race to kick off this pick 4 that is now up and over $600,000 here on this Sunday afternoon. We had a packed house here for Whitney Day, of course, close to 40,000 here at Saratoga. We have another packed house again for this Sunday action, where a Troy Handicap still to come, and we're going to have a tremendous showdown as you look at the crowd taking in the action here at Saratoga. Pure sensation, green mask, and a great supporting cast will throw down at 5.5 furlongs on the turf. That should be fun in the Troy Handicap. But right now, race 8 to kick off our late pick 4. Storm Prophet, the 1 to beat from the inside post with Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of the Triple Crown for the load, Larry Colmus.
Storm Prophet is in there at 8-5, along with Yummy Bear. Here comes Peculiar Sensation up to the starting gate. The Great Samurai goes in. Ode to the Hunt is in. Here is Shiraz stepping up. They'll be followed by Manifest Destiny. EJ's Legacy will be the next one to go into the line after Manifest Destiny goes in. And last to load will be Nuts for Bolts. Storm Prophet and Irad Ortiz Jr. maintaining that 8-5 favoritism as Nuts for Bolts and Luis Saez come up to the outside stall and go in. They're all in line. They're off. Not a good start at all for Nuts for Bolts, who's well behind the field. Manifest Destiny goes out to lead them early. EJ's Legacy came out running in second. Peculiar Sensation is third. Then Yummy Bear, and Storm Prophet will be 5th as they race for that first turn, racing on the rail and 4 lengths off the lead into the turn. And then it's Shiraz to the outside. Ode to the Hunt is next. The Great Samurai. And Nuts for Bolts will be last early on after a poor beginning. The first quarter was 24.63 seconds. Manifest Destiny onto the backstretch in front. Leads it by a length. EJ's Legacy second. Peculiar Sensation is third. And then it's Yummy Bear. Gerard Ortiz Jr. has the favorite Storm Prophet covered up 5th, racing on the inside and 5 from the front. After that comes Shiraz, followed by Ode to the Hunt. And then it's the Great Samurai, who races on the inside of Nuts for Bolts. So they race for the far turn, the half 49.74 for Eric Consell and Manifest Destiny, who lead the way by almost 2. EJ's Legacy is second. Peculiar Sensation follows third, moving for the far turn. Yummy Bear is in 4th. Storm Prophet still down on the inside, 4.5 lengths off the lead. No place to go just yet. After that comes Shiraz. Nuts for Bolts is trying to make up ground on the far outside. And they're into the stretch. Manifest Destiny, still the leader here. From EJ's Legacy in second. Here's Yummy Bear to confront them on the outside. Peculiar Sensation is next. Storm Prophet, a lot of work to do. In the final 16th, Manifest Destiny. Yummy Bear on the outside coming on. Here comes Yummy Bear. Yummy Bear runs down Manifest Destiny to win. Storm Prophet had to settle for third. Ode to the Hunt 4th. 1 minute 36.96 was the final time.
Yummy Bear and Manny Franco. Manny Franco goes back-to-back wins for David Donk here to start off this late pick 4, Andy.
Yeah, I feel like we're heading to a carryover in the late pick 5. In the late pick 5 here, the Naira Bets pick 5, and you know, this feels like a race you really want to watch 2 or 3 more times because there were a lot of trips in here, but Yummy Bear gets it done. Manny Franco having a big day.
Yeah, perfect example of a horse that ran very well in his last start, and sometimes horses just gain confidence with wins, and he came through today.
2 unlucky horses in the race. The 3 was a good pick by you, and watch the 11 on the outside. Just no chance here. Hops in the air, and then this basically stops. And you know what? Luis Saez, give him credit. He made a move around the turn to try to get this horse involved, but a horse is just a horse. But Yummy Bear, you're right, making this a pick 5 Yummy.
Basically what happened was, and not trying to knock Yummy Bear, and he won, and he deserves to win. He's in great form, and it's a great job by Dave Donk, who's having a big day too. He had the speed to be close enough, and he wasn't compromised. When the 2, for whatever reason, from Joe Osario, and maybe he had trouble to break 2, when he decided to rate, and he was supposed to be clear, and you pointed out, Tom, when he wasn't involved, that changed this. They went very slow up front. It changed the whole dynamic. The 3, Ode to the Hunt, who galloped out past the leaders 10 strides after the wire, well, he was back in last and caught in traffic, and Jose never got him to a spot where he could run, and it kind of cost him. He's a tough horse to ride, and the 11 horse got that trouble at the start. So there were trips galore, but Yummy Bear got the trip, and that's what turf racing is.
Fair assessment, a control pace, very hard to finish from behind the field when everybody's saving energy on the front end. Yummy Bear was in the best position, turning for home.
And a 30-1 shot in second in Manifest Destiny in here. It finished 5-8-1. The favorite Storm Prophet winds up third, 5-8-1-3. That first-time gelding Ode to the Hunt checking in 4th. Yummy Bear for David Donk. He's got a couple of wins this afternoon. He's starting to heat up. Manny Franco with a couple of wins today as he is heating up as well. Yummy Bear with the win at 12-1 to start off the late pick 4. Gun Runner was spectacular in the Whitney, and nothing was going to get in his way. We'll have more on that next.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
And they're off in New York. The premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Dakota, they won't catch Monin. Monin wins the February State.
You have the opportunity. New York breds. Get with the program. The best program.
You're watching Saratoga Live, and here is Yummy Bear and Manny Franco coming down the lane and crossing the wire first to start off this late pick 4 sequence. And Manny Franco getting his second win on the afternoon. Yummy Bear, $27 winner here in the 8th race. 2 wins today for David Donk. He won with a hobo back in the 4th to get a maiden breaking win with that one as well. Let's go downstairs to Gabby for more.
Oh, thanks very much, Greg. Standing here with David Donk, and Yummy Bear getting the victory. Got the victory last time out. Did that kind of serve as a nice confidence booster coming into today?
Yeah, I think so, Gabby. I mean, he really runs hard. He really tries. Last time, it was only an Everwin 2 for 40, but he was really game about it. It was a race, when you go back and watch it, that he didn't have to win. So he really likes getting back to the grass. It was a game effort.
And we were just talking off air. You were jokingly saying that you're kind of a weekday type of trainer up here at Saratoga, but you're winning on the weekends. You've won 2 so far today.
Yeah, I don't have the strongest stable at the moment. I don't have the stake horses, so I said before here I'm a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday trainer, but I guess they needed me today. But yeah, it was a great day. It's good. It's always nice to win here. Great to win a couple.
It's got to be a great feeling to get a couple of wins here at Saratoga. Always a pleasure to see you in the winner's circle, David.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Greg.
Gabby, thank you. So David Donk with a couple on the afternoon here. Yummy Bear goes back to back for David Donk. Wins for Funky Monkey Stable. And Manny Franco goes back to back. He's got 2 wins here on the afternoon. So our pick 4 underway with a monster price. Our Troy Handicap still to come later on in the afternoon. Race 9, 6 furlongs. It is an entry-level allowance. Coming up, Stormy's Song. Look out. This horse was 4-1 morning line. 6-5 is what she opens up at. The daughter of Unbridled Song, trained by Brian Lynch. She won by 7 lengths in her debut. They stretched her out to a mile, and now she will return to sprinting in career start number 3. You can watch Saratoga Live, replays, get expert analysis, videos, and workouts all on demand and in HD with the NYRA Now app, the ultimate app to keep up with all the action at Saratoga this summer. Just go to the App Store and search for NYRA Now. The app is a free download, so download the NYRA Now app today and get dialed in. It's the Whitney Viewing Stand. This is located at the Oklahoma Training Track. It allows everyone to experience a bird's eye view of the horses' morning workouts if you can get up early in the morning and catch them. The landmark was dedicated to the Whitneys in 2013 during Saratoga's 150th celebration. It is open to the public from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. to catch those morning workouts, and absolutely a great time if you can make it over there. In case you missed it, Gunrunner is back and one of the best in the entire world. Here's his Whitney win from yesterday.
They're off in the Whitney. And Florent Giroux sends Gunrunner on the outside of Cautious Giant, and Breaking Lucky's going right with him. So the 3 of them speed along into the turn. Gunrunner's going to be outside of horses, and now Breaking Lucky will sit back in 3rd as Cautious Giant goes out there and does his job early. Gunrunner's a length and a half off of them. Breaking Lucky is running in 3rd on the inside. 2 Brutus follows in 4th. Well held by Arad Ortiz Jr. He's anxious to run. They went 23.89 for the opening quarter mile. Then a tucked-in War Story. On the outside is Discreet Lover. And then comes Keen Ice. Jose Ortiz biding his time at the back of the pack. Up front, it's Cautious Giant. Gunrunner, the heavy favorite, is alongside, just a half length behind up the backstretch. Breaking Lucky follows in 3rd position just behind them. The half mile goes up in 48.31 seconds. It's an easy pace. 2 Brutus is 4th on the outside. And then it's Discreet Lover, War Story down at the rail, and Keen Ice is last. Gunrunner takes the lead. Gunrunner has taken over with a half mile to run, and he takes off as the field rounds the far turn. He's opened up a 2-length lead. Cautious Giant is back running in 2nd. Breaking Lucky now moves by him on the outside. Then comes 2 Brutus. They're followed by Discreet Lover, War Story, and Keen Ice beginning to pick up his stride from the back of the pack. But he's 7 lengths behind, and he's got Gunrunner to catch. Gunrunner turning for home in the Whitney. In front by 2. On the outside, Breaking Lucky is 2nd. Keen Ice has made his way up into 3rd, but he's still far behind. And now Florent Giroux lets Gunrunner go, and he's opened up a 4-length lead.
Breaking Lucky is second. Keen Ice on the outside is third as they come to the line. Gun Runner wins the Whitney. He won it by 6 over Keen Ice. Breaking Lucky was next, and then came War Story. The final time was 1 minute 47.71 seconds. That's Gun Runner.
Gun Runner romps. He wins by 5 1/4 lengths, and he ran the last half mile, Andy, with a shoe in his tail.
Yeah, I don't think the shoe really mattered. He's a terrific horse, Gun Runner. He's an unusual horse that gets better with every single start. He doesn't have the accomplishments, and I don't mean this. I mean this as a high compliment, but to both of them, he kind of reminds me of Cigar. You know, the truly good horses, they show up every time.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean, look, I still can't get over the fact that nobody thinks this is the leading candidate for Horse of the Year at this table besides me.
He's a second leading candidate. Only a lunatic would think that he deserves to be the leading
Frosted
candidate
wins
over
the
Arrogate.
Whitney last year by 2 lengths, runs slower than Gun Runner this year, and you're ready to anoint him Horse of the Year right then and there.
So Horse of the Year is based on final time now. You like to move the goalpost, Mr. Amos.
Not at all. Not at all. This
Losing
was
has really started to have an effect on you, I
very
think.
impressive performance by Gun Runner, and he is in a situation now where, unlike last year where California Chrome was still rocking and rolling, Arrogate just ran the worst race of his career. Gun Runner is the leading candidate for Horse of the Year.
Saratoga's tough on everybody, Paul.
Again, Arrogate ran by him by getting left in the gate. So I'll forgive Arrogate from his one thing, but I will give you this. Gun Runner is a type of horse that everybody says he has candy trips. He's great because he puts himself in those trips.
Right, he makes the trips candy
Exactly.
trips. He's got the brilliance of tactical speed, and he's taking it from the beginning of the year to now, every time he runs.
He has put Arrogate in a position where he has to run well in the Pacific Classic. If Arrogate loses the Pacific Classic, there's no doubt that Gun Runner is the leader for Horse of the Year. But I don't think right now Arrogate's too worried about it. Well, just trying to add some sanity to the conversation.
How quickly we forget, Tom Amos, how special Arrogate was off one flop. We'll see what happens. Obviously, if he gets back on track at the Pacific Classic, everything changes. But yeah, Gun Runner, Arrogate, they're still the top 2 in the world right now, no matter what happens, until we see him again back on the racetrack, if he can rebound off that flop in the San Diego. After the race, Steve Asmussen feeling pretty good about things with Gun Runner.
Just so pleased. Getting a little age on him. With that comes a little complacency, but he's still eager. Gets away from the gates in beautiful shape. And he was in Florent's hands. Pace setter in the race, relaxed off of him, took over when he felt needed, and I thought that Florent showed a great amount of confidence in him, letting him take over in the far turn like he did. But he knows the horse extremely well. And, the results speak for themselves. We were obviously impressed and pleased with his race here at Saratoga yesterday in the Whitney, and I think that makes the Woodward very probable. He looks great this morning. The day after, he'll have a couple of easy days, and then we'll be back on the racetrack with him here. Another gorgeous morning, mid-50s this morning. I think, it's perfect, for a horse of Gun Runner's caliber to recover from a race like the Whitney. Woodward not having to travel makes a lot of sense. He was an extremely talented 2-year-old, a very good 3-year-old, and he is bordering elite company now with the year that he's put in. And hopefully, we had a great festive evening last night with Mr. Winchell and Mr. Torrealba, and we've hopefully 2 more races to finish out the year with the possibility of being on top.
I think we can already call him elite with what we've seen from him. There's his pilot, Florent Giroux, his daughter in hand, and he's got a special one onto the Woodward September 2nd. He could have some company as well from a horse we saw earlier in the card. We'll have more on that coming up later on in the show. Meanwhile, will Royal Inheritance finish in the money? Coming up in race 9, looking to make it 3 straight.
NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NyraBets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NyraBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu. or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRA Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Jockey Legends Day continues. Angel Cordero, one of the greats to ever do it, on hand here at the Spa on this Sunday afternoon. Getting set for race 9 coming up here on Saratoga Live. Of course, Saratoga Live brought to you in part by champion sprinter Run Happy. Won at 6 different racetracks, scoring on all weather and dirt surfaces, labeled fast, sloppy, and money. He was undefeated in sprint competition. Set the track record, the King's Bishop, right here at Saratoga. In this race here, you're watching a track record in the 2015 Breeders' Cup Sprint at Keeneland. The only male this century to win a Breeders' Cup race on dirt without using Lasix. There he is at the farm at Paris, Kentucky. Run Happy now standing at Claiborne Farm. 9th race coming up here at Saratoga, and I loved the last race that I saw from Tasteful. It was so visually impressive. Maggie, trained by Karen McLaughlin. Now we're going to see him back for the first time since April.
You're correct about that, Greg. She was very visually impressive in that Keeneland race. It was a race that kind of fell apart a little bit, but she certainly looked good in the latter stages, though she did switch back to her inside lead. You never really love to see that. You want to see a horse finishing strong on that outside right lead. Now, it's interesting to me, looking at the pedigree, it would kind of suggest that maybe she wanted a little more ground, but they come back from a layoff here once again and point her towards a sprint race. But I get it. She is built more like a sprinter overall, and she's very fit here. She's very classy acting here in the paddock, which is something I can't say about every single one of these horses in here. But getting to another layoff type, and that's number 3, Libby's Tail. She's turning back in distance, which is fine. I actually prefer her going a bit longer, to be honest. And furthermore, she was a horse who was good and precocious as a 2-year-old, though I'm not totally sold that she's really kind of grown up and filled out and taken that next step forward. She really hasn't, in my opinion, from what I see from her here. She comes back extremely fit for Rudy Rodriguez and fine-tuned, and she's nice, calm, cool, and collected. But as far as catching up with her, kind of other 3-year-old fillies now this year, she hasn't necessarily done that. Now, one that does have some recency, but is a turn back, is number 5, Stormy Song. And really going back to that first race, I anticipated her needing more ground, but it turns out, well, she's pretty quick as she'll get back to the 6 furlongs here. She looks stronger to me. She looks better each and every time I see her, and maybe she is just a sprinting type, and Brian Lynch is confirmed that with a disappointing effort going longer. So turning back, she might be very good here, as I think she's taken a step forward physically. Andy, how do you see this race playing out?
Well, hopefully it's the 5. I mean, I like the 5. I think 7 to 5 is a little ridiculous on this horse right now, but she was very impressive in breaking her maiden. I just think this feels like this trainer realizing she doesn't want to go a mile.
It was a confusing ride last time, at least for me. I think that Joelle should have just let her roll from the start. Now,
her maiden win right now, we're showing.
Oh, yeah. You know, her maiden win was impressive. She won by 7. And, you know, the thing was she wasn't really fancied at the window. Her last start, I just think Joelle never let her go. And I think he was a little bit too confident. And I think he's going to ride her like this today, try to break away.
Right. Look, overconfidence for sure in the last race, because in the first race, he was able to gradually get to the lead and not have to use a lot of horse. And she just controls everything on the front end. The question is, can she control everything on the front end today? Because I think she's a confirmed front end type horse. She's got some speed inside of her with Royal Inheritance, the 4-horse, and gets a fortunate scratch from Bowtown Cat, the 2-horse, who I think would have pressed her as well.
I say a couple of things. I think Joelle let her roll a little bit early. I think you can't compare those two paces. The track was a little bit slower on June 30th. I just think Joelle was worried she couldn't get the mile last time, and that may be one of the reasons he did that. You make a good point, though, whether or not this horse can clear in here. What about the 3 Libby's Tail coming off the layoff? I do like the cutback in distance. I think ultimately, if she's going to be successful, it'll be going shorter, not longer.
I'm curious to see if Maggie gets a chance to watch that horse warm up on the track. I watched Libby's Tails races. She wears 4 bandages. She's got them on again today. I watched her races, and I thought progressively her stride looked a little different later in her career. Now she had the time off. Are we going to see the Libby's Tail that we saw at the beginning of the season last year that really had a good-looking stride, or not? That's important to me in the post-parade.
She was giant in the Frisette. You sort of looked like she lost the lead, but they were 9.5 lengths clear when Yellow Agate ran her down. But I thought she put in some fight. She finished nice that race.
Yeah, I mean, she's a talented horse. She's coming back for her first race in over 6 months. We see that a lot here. I think there's a difference agreement a little bit on the set with the 4 Royal Inheritance, a horse that you like, Tom, that Paul and I aren't a big fan of, and we'll talk about her after the post parade.
Yeah, the horse is coming onto the track for the post parade here. Race 9, second leg of this late pick 4 coming up. Again, a 6-furlong sprint. And we're going to see the entry, of course, first. We were talking about Tasteful earlier. Trained by Kieran McLaughlin, Godolphin Racing, Javier Castellano, and Tasteful, that second start of her career, she did not get out of the gate all that well. She had to go about 8 wide around the turn, and she won for fun.
You know, she's going to have to get faster. She's not fast enough to win this race based on her speed figures in her first 2 races. But she was visually impressive. If she improves off that effort, she can win.
The other half of the entry, Ladies' Day, also for Godolphin Racing here, trained by Tom Albertrani with Luis Saez.
Ladies' Day is trying to get back to her maiden win. If she runs her maiden win one of these days, she is going to win a race like this. But she hasn't shown an ability to do that in 3 subsequent starts.
Libby's Tail is the 3 she won first time out. She's graded stakes place in the Frisette as a 2-year-old, trained by Rudy Rodriguez.
Libby's Tail is another who's going to try to get back to her best form. Now, she hasn't run in 7 months, but she did win her debut, so she showed that she can win fresh.
Royal Inheritance for Joseph Bulger. Manny Franco, he's been the hot hand today. Rides for David Canizzo.
Yeah, barely beat a group as a heavy favorite that day, and is going to be stepping up in class today.
Here is Stormy Song. She won by 7 lengths. We showed you in that debut for Brian Lynch with Joel Rosario aboard.
I like this filly getting back to a sprint, but I think 7-5 is a little short.
She plays the field. Paco Lopez aboard for Brian Lynch as well.
This one's going to be stretching out to 2 turns after a very competitive effort.
Anna Ray is the 7. Ricardo Santana Jr. for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
She did break her maiden first time out at Saratoga, but she might be a little bit slower than some of these. That's why she's a big price.
And Luz Mimi, the 8. She's been second in 7 of her 14 career starts for Jeremiah Engelhardt. Now with Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
Yeah, this is an improving filly that's stepping up in class. I think a player in this race.
Well, she comes off a win on a race that was taken off the turf. That was at Belmont at 6 furlongs back on July 7th. She is 4-1 on the board, but the heavy 3-2 favorite, Stormy Song, returning to sprinting after she was dominant in her debut. We're going to take a break in the action. We'll be back. Race 9 from Saratoga when we return.
The world's #1 sire of 2-year-olds, Warfront, continues to command top prices with yearlings this year, bringing up to $1.9 million. On the track, Warfront has sired recent Grade 1 winner Avenge, Grade 1 victors Brave Anna, and graded stakes winning juveniles in France, England, and Ireland, Roly Poly, War Decree, and Intelligence Cross. A leading sire on all fronts, from Paris, Kentucky to Paris, France, Claiborne Farms, Warfoot.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before. Back here on Saratoga Live on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here at Saratoga. 9th is coming up, and standing by with the connections of the current 7-5 favorite. That filly right there, Stormy Song. Let's go to Gabby.
It's a lot of pressure here, Greg, but standing with the managing partner, Anthony Bartolo. And talk a little bit about Victory Racing Partnership and who all's out here today, because you guys are taking up probably half the paddock.
Yeah, well, basically almost did. We have a bunch of partners that are from this area, so the great thing about it is they were able to bring their families out and experience this today. And we're pretty excited about what we have going on. We've been a partnership now for about a year and a half. We have a great bloodstock agent in Chris Brothers, who's we buy some really nice, well-bred horses at actually a very reasonable price for people to get involved and be involved in the paddock and be an owner and hopefully get to the winner's circle.
Now talk a little bit about Stormy's Song. She's obviously a horse that showed an immense amount of talent first time out. She stretched out in distance. Ultimately, what was your plan with her, and do you think this is her preferred spot as sprinting?
Well, she's a big filly, and we really feel like she could probably, be better at 2 turns. But at the moment, that second race, we had a nice first win, breaking our maiden, and then the second start. I think the distance, she needed the race. She'll come back here in this cut back very well. We were pointing towards the test, but we thought it may be a little bit deep water for her in her 3rd race. So we want to do the right thing by the horse. So she's here today, and hopefully we get a win for the group.
It's always exciting, maybe a little bit nerve-wracking sending out a horse, especially here at Saratoga, especially as the 7-5 favorite. How's everybody feeling today?
Very good.
All right, let's get a go. Let's get a go. Big full paddock here, as we got to let them go and actually watch their horse run as we send it over to Maggie.
Thank you.
We got to run.
Thank you. And I want to touch on a horse that Tom was talking about and how she was warming up, and that's number 3, Libby's Tail, coming back off the layoff. I get what Tom's talking about, and that her legs kind of go in every direction. She isn't the prettiest mover, but boy, she strided out nicely, and I really can't fault her whatsoever. The one that kind of took a while to get going was actually her current favorite in number 5, Stormy Song. She just, Joel kind of kept her quiet for a horse that has that projected speed. He didn't give her the most aggressive of warm-ups. And then finally taking a look at number 4, Royal Inheritance. It's her first try against Open Company. She looks very, very fit, I'll admit, but I don't know, she doesn't quite stack up to the physical stature of some of the other ones in here. She'll get the real acid test here today. Greg.
Maggie, thanks. I certainly hope Victory Racing Partners are hustling right now, getting close to post time here. They have the 6-5 favorite in Stormy Song, daughter of Unbridled Song, and that is interesting to hear. They were thinking grade 1 test for her in the 3rd start of her career, and with what transpired yesterday and the dominant performance from American Gal, they're probably thinking they made the right call here, sticking to this much easier spot here instead and let her progress a little more naturally. You see it there in the distance, the 5 filly, with Joel Rosario squarely the one to beat as you look at our analyst selections, both Andy and Gabby going with Stormy Song as they load up. She's the one to beat. Let's see if she can get back to the winner's circle in a return to sprinting. Here's Larry Colmus with the call.
Next one to come up will be Stormy Song to move into the starting gate. Royal Inheritance a little reluctant here to come forward. Now it looks like she's gone in. Here comes Stormy Song into the gate, to be followed by She Plays the Field. Anna Ray and Lose Mimi. Lose Mimi going in. They're all in line. They're off. Stormy Song is last early on. It is Royal Inheritance who goes out to the front. Libby's Tail on the inside is away well. These two out for the lead. She Plays the Field is away in 3rd. Lose Mimi is 4th. Then it's Tasteful, followed by Stormy Song, who comes through on the inside after a slow start and races 5 lengths off the lead up the backstretch. Then Ladies Day and Anna Ray, 22.76 the quarter, moving for the far turn. Manny Franco and Royal Inheritance lead the way a half a length. She Plays the Field is running in 2nd. Lose Mimi is 3rd and progressing toward the top 2 on the turn. Libby's Tail is 4th down on the inside. On the far outside, Ladies Day is next, then Tasteful. Stormy Song at the back of the field inside of Anna Ray as they come to the top of the stretch. Royal Inheritance in front, 45.93 the half. She Plays the Field on the outside is 2nd. Lose Mimi down the center of the track is there. Then it's Libby's Tail, Tasteful. Not today for Stormy Song, passing the final furlong, and drifting out here is Royal Inheritance, trying to hold off the competition. Lose Mimi closes outside. Libby's Tail's coming through at the rail. They're coming down to the line. Royal Inheritance, another win for Manny Franco. Libby's Tail was 2nd. Lose Mimi was 3rd. She Plays the Field 4th in 1 minute 11.06.
Wow, make it 3 in a row for Manny Franco and 3 in a row as well for the filly. He's aboard. Royal Inheritance, daughter of Regal Ransom. She's now 4 for 5 in her career, Paul.
Yeah, she just likes to win races. She really does. And you know what? She runs like this. It's really weird. She sort of runs like she's lugging out, and you don't know if she's sore or not. But I think, Tom, what she does do is she's reaching. You see right there, she just doesn't really love the turns. I think she's a little green, but she has a ton of want.
She has a ton of want. A New York bred beating Open Company in this spot. Her only loss to Holiday Disguise, I asked Andy if that was the best 3-year-old New York bred sprinter, which he said was indeed. Here's my point. This horse was assisted a great deal by the break of the 5-horse Stormy Song, who did not break well, and all of a sudden finds herself as the lone speed in the race.
Yeah, you want to see the head on the break because clearly the 5-9 broke slow. She got stayed out, and that changed the race. It took a major player out, and it took a major speed out of the race. But take nothing away from Royal Inheritance. She was involved in the pace the whole way. She held off the closer. She was very game, and David Canizzo is having a terrific meet.
Winning rider, here was winning rider Manny Franco. And Manny, you're on en fuego today, as we like to say. But Royal Inheritance, she's affiliates 3 for 4. She just finds and finds and gives and gives.
Maggie, she's getting better and better. And I want to say thank to the owner, David, the trainer, for keep me on the filly. And man, she was awesome today.
Yeah, and she fought off every bit of competition. Her first time against Open Company, and I know Dave was back and forth with himself to go in New York Bred Stakes or to try Open Company, but it looks as though she can kind of do everything.
Yeah, she showed it today, and I'm so excited with that filly.
Manny, you've had a great day. Congratulations here with Royal Inheritance.
Thank you, Maggie.
Greg?
Thanks, Maggie. 3 consecutive victories for Manny Franco. He has certainly got going in a big way. Teaming up here with trainer David Canizzo, Joseph Bolger, and this 3-year-old filly, New York bred by Regal Ransom. Makes it 3 consecutive victories. She's now won 4 of 5 in her career and gets the job done here in race 9. 4-3, 8-6 finish. And again at the start, guys, for Stormy Song, not only breaking a little tardily, but getting shut off as well.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know exactly. You see it. She broke slow. She did it to herself, and then she bounced off the horse. But when you break slow, they close the door on you, Tom.
They do, right? The 4. And you can see, look at the way 4. She is still green. Manny Franco saying something to Maggie right there on horseback, saying she's still getting better. Look at her. She's still a little green. She runs a little cockeyed.
I don't know. 5 starts, and you're going to call her green? I think there's something about the way she goes.
That's just the way she runs.
That she's just not going to be a horse that's going to be down on the rail.
At the end of the day, I think it was the result that made Paul and I green.
There is a look at Pure Sensation, the 14th running, the Troy Handicap still to come. This was the world record holder at 6 furlongs on the turf until that was broken this year by his stablemate. Troy Handicap is next.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Royal Inheritance heading into the winner's circle after the 9th here at Saratoga on Saratoga Live, returning $13.80 for the win. 3 consecutive victories for Manny Franco, the rider, and 3 consecutive wins for the filly. Royal Inheritance wins for trainer David Canizzo, owned by Joseph Bolger. And she is off to quite a start in her career. 4 wins and a second in her 5 career outings. Let's go downstairs to Gabby for more.
And she broke pretty quickly out of the gate, but she was tenacious coming down the stretch. Dave, just talk about her performance coming down the stretch run. She was all heart today.
She's a very game filly. She runs with her heart. She looks for a battle all the time. And, I mean, that's her. You're never really – first time out, she actually scared us when she won by a lot because in the morning she just gives you everything just to stay ahead in front, and she looks for a dogfight, and that's what she gave today.
She absolutely did. And Maggie was mentioning in the post race that you were dabbling and maybe going against New York bred stakes company or trying open allowance company. What made all the difference?
I think the shorter half a furlong. You know, the Union Ave was 6.5. You're running against some older, nice class fillies like Quizon, Court Dancer, and fillies like that. So I opted to go into Other Than to Life and run against some more immature fillies that I actually probably had more starts than them and take my shot at straight 3/4 because she's really 6 furlongs is probably about as far as she wants to go.
But she's got the goods here, so looking forward to see where she comes up next. Where do you think we'll find her?
When we get back to Belmont, there's a 3/4 stake, or we go to the 2X maybe here late in the meet. We'll see how she comes out of it and go from there.
All right, we'll relish the victory right now.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Dave. Back up to you, Greg.
Gabby, thank you very much. Royal Inheritance, David Canizzo. He has a nice 3-year-old filly off to a tremendous start in her young career. Again, 4 wins now from 5 starts. As we take a look at the Naira Bets Late Pick 5 follow-up, $170,000 in the pool on this Sunday afternoon. Started with a $43 horse and holding aces. That was Manny Franco. Manny Franco did it again on Yummy Bear for David Donk. David Donk with 2 wins today, $27. And then Manny Franco one more time on Royal Inheritance. So what a day that young rider has been having. Our feature race, it is coming up next. 5.5 furlongs on the turf in the Troy Handicap. And pure sensation, Green Mask, 2 of the biggest numbers anyone has put up in turf sprints all year long. In fact, the 2 biggest numbers anyone has put up. But right now, guys, it's Green Mask for Brad Cox, who is the 3-2 favorite on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's the horse to beat. It's a very, very tough race. I think the most important race for us to talk about is the Jaipur at Belmont, at least to start the discussion. Pure Sensation got involved in a torrid duel and actually ran remarkably well to finish 4th. Now, he draws inside of Bold Thunder here. Does he get eaten up in the pace and set up again for the closers?
I don't know if he gets eaten up in the pace. I just don't know if the sweeping turns at Belmont are a little bit deeper turns and the 6 furlongs is his cup of tea. I think 5 furlongs, 5.5 furlongs, when he's able to be on the outside too. I don't know if he can be a horse that can press on the inside against these type of horses.
Yeah, and look, we got to talk about all the participants of that race, right? So let's look at the 6 Holding Gold, who, okay, they went very fast. I'm assuming that's not a misprint. 105 and change, 6 furlongs?
Oh, yeah.
So,
been confirmed.
Okay. the track had to be like
very quick.
A freeway. Yeah. I mean,
turf sprint times are fast. That was fast.
Yeah, that's really quick. Well, a horse like Holding Gold needs pace. He's going to back up to the 5.5 furlongs today. I think he's got a huge chance.
Well, the thing you can talk about the Jaipur, I mean, if you go back and you watch it, was Castellano too confident with Green Mask? He was concerned with the horse on the outside, and then Disco Partner ran up on the inside. But he ended up realizing, well, Disco Partner's just a little bit better than him, and he won this race last year, beating Green Mask in a big photo. The thing about Green Mask, I'll say to you, he is a big, big horse. It's very unusual that big of a horse to be a sprinter. And I always thought it'd be a little funky for him around these turns. But he ran well here last year, but he could not go by. Disco Partner beat him on the square last year.
But I would say that last year, Disco Partner's turned into one of the better turf horses. I mean, won a mile race at Belmont very impressively. He could win the Grade 1 4-star Dave next weekend. But Green Mask wasn't winning. He was hanging.
He was hanging,
but not anymore. He's finishing the deal now. I think he's a much different horse. Now, talking about the 6 horse who you mentioned in here, Holding Gold, I was going to pick him here, and I will pick him because I thought he'd be a big price. I bet him last time because he was 18 to 1. At 3 to 1, he's not offering any value in here.
Well, someone has to sit that trip, right?
Yes, someone does.
Okay, so if it happens what we saw in the Park Stash when Pure Sensation and Bold Thunder went at it, someone does have to go after Bold Sensation. But when you get into Holding Gold, he got dead left in the Jaipur. He ran giant.
Well, if you're talking about pace setters and you're referring to Bold Thunder, the 8-horse, as well as Pure Selection, the 3-horse, the one thing about those horses, when they faced last time, Bold Thunder said uncle very, very quickly.
And Pace and Pure Station could rake who's outside of him. Keep an eye on Mongolian Saturday, who's down the inside.
Yes.
Now, we didn't show him early. He was shuffled out of position. The question is he starting to get back to that form that saw him win the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint 2 years ago, or did he just sort of suck up on the inside for second despite having some early trouble?
Tom and I are going to take the same view on this. I think the 9's a live long shot. And I'll tell you why. If you watch the beginning of this race, there was a lot of trouble on the inside. And the 9 and 10 were able to clear Bold Thunder and Pure Sensation with ease. And why everybody got backed up, they just went on with it. And none of the inside horses had a shot. That horse was the only horse that made up any ground.
Only horse that made up any ground, had to check at the 3/8 pole and then restart again. If you look at that chart, Paul, just like we just talked about, no one changed positions very much in that race except for Mongolian Saturday, and he's going to get another 110 yards today. He's going to like that.
You know, I'm never going to knock an 11-to-1 shot. If people want to bet Mongolian Saturday, they should. I will take a contrarian opinion. And I know some very smart people would agree with you. I feel like he just kind of got second because nobody's been running. And there was a situation in that race where a horse drifted the turn and carried everybody out of the race, or many participants.
But you do give extra credit when you look at a chart and you see only one horse changing position compared to the rest of the field.
I think that's a very, very fair point as we head back upstairs.
All right, we're getting set for what should be a good throwdown here at 5.5 on the turf. These are some exceptional turf sprinters. You can hit the trifecta on your mobile device in this race, and if you do, you earn a 10% winner's bonus by playing with Naira Bets. Offers this trifecta winner's bonus on a Saratoga stake every single day. So see the full list and bet Saratoga Racing nationwide at NairaBets.com. Naira Bets, it's the official betting site for Saratoga Racecourse. We're going to take a break in the action. The Troy Handicap coming up next, but we're going to tell you what a farrier's job is when we return on Saratoga Live as well.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Back on Saratoga Live, there's so many people at the racetrack whose jobs go unnoticed by the general public but are crucial to success. We saw it yesterday with Gunrunner carrying an extra shoe in his Whitney win. Who's responsible for keeping horses' feet healthy and their shoes attached? That's always important. Meet the Farrier in another edition of I Am.
I am Tim Shortell. and the Farrier. Our main job is to maintain I would say, the balance in a horse's hoof, and then we do that ×4 to try to make them as comfortable as we can with the proper toe lengths and heel lengths to make their stride as efficient as it can be for a given animal. We want them to cover as much ground in a given stride, and we try to maximize that by the proper trimming of the feet. And then that's supplemented by sometimes the certain kinds of shoes that they wear. On the turf, as the racing rules go, there's only one shoe that's allowed, and this is called an XT. It just has a very, very small toe grab and no traction devices at all. This is a front and hind. These 4 shoes are all the same. The trainer will say, well, he's scheduled to run on the dirt. So again, we've got the same aluminum shoe, but now we're allowed to use, this is called a toe grab, and it's about twice the size of the one that I just showed you for the turf. A number of years ago, the rules of racing changed for the better, I believe, when they eliminated any more than a low-toe shoe on the dirt. And the reason for that is they believe that they've been able to increase the quality of the soundness of the horses by eliminating all that traction on the front. The 2 most popular styles in hind shoes right now would just be just a plain toe grab here. This one happens to be a quarter horse. You can see that's significantly higher than those I previously showed you. And then very often you'll either hear or you'll see on the tote board that 1, 3, 5, and 8 are wearing bend shoes, B-E-N-D. And what we do is, that shoe doesn't come from the factory. What we do on the stall jack, take the shoe, we fit it first, and then we just fit it in here and give it a couple of licks and bend it down like that. Again, it's another form of traction. Very popular shoe. Because every horse is different, it takes a long time, a lot of practice to develop the good nailing skills. I would say that's probably the biggest challenge. All 4 feet on a given animal could be different. You have to make a judgment call on each and every one when we're all finished. Feet that match, heel lengths, toe lengths, and front and hind. Balance is really the word that we use most often. Very good. We want to maximize the efficiency of each stride the animal makes in a comfortable way.
Well, it's a crucial part of having success at the racetrack, keeping those feet happy and healthy. Tim Shortell, been doing it for a long, long time on the NYRA circuit. Getting set for our feature coming up here. Troy Handicap coming up, still 7-5 favoritism, Green Mask. With more on the field, let's go to Maggie.
And Greg will check in with that current favorite in number 4, Green Mask. And he's the horse to beat. He's very much so. And I actually wasn't enthralled with his appearance going back to that Jaipur, but he certainly proved me wrong. You know, what do I know? But he comes back to New York here with a big win up at Woodbine. And to me, he actually does look better than what he did going back to June at Belmont. And I respect him. He's a hard-knocking, true blue turf sprinter. So he deserves much respect, as much as he's getting right now as far as the tote board's concerned. Now, number 2 is Long on Value, who returned to the States here after a stint in the Middle East in Maidan and trying Royal Ascot. Royal Ascot didn't quite go as well as the Alquois Sprint at Maidan, but this is a horse that kind of no matter what you throw at him, he always physically looks good, so I can't fault him as he does make his first start back in the stakes, though sometimes you do see these horses kind of tending to need one to get their feet back underneath them, though I don't think Bill Mott would have put him in this spot if he wasn't doing well, because physically he surely shows that. Now, on to one that's going to be a big price down on the rail is Undrafted. We know Wesley Ward knows how to win a turf sprint, and Undrafted to me looks way better than what he did for the Jaipur. He's put on weight again. He looks much stronger. He looks like the old Undrafted that I'm used to, the one that was doing that good running a couple years ago. So I think he's very intriguing here at a price just because he's improved a lot since the last time I'd seen him. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you very much. Post-parade here coming up shortly for the Troy and the showdown between pure sensation, former world record holder at 6 furlongs. Of course, his stablemate would break that record in the very same race back on June the 10th. And between Green Mask, got a very great field assembled for this one coming up. And our post parade, it is brought to you by OCD Pellets. 10 years celebrating in the equine industry. Their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, you can go to OCDpellets.com. Here's a 2015 Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint winner for Mongolian Stable. Mongolian Saturday, Florent Giroux aboard.
He's trying to get back to his form of 2 years ago, and his last start was a step in the right direction.
On the board at 12-1 to show you just how deep this field is. The one undrafted, owned in part by Wes Welker. And Monomoy Stables, Wesley Ward trainee with Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
He's another horse who's trying to get back to his former terrific form that showed him winning at Royal Ascot. He hasn't been close to it recently.
Long on Value is the 2 for Walktail Stable, trained by Bill Mott and Joel Rosario rides.
He was giant in Maidan, and he's, I think, a better sprinter. And if you look at his races at Saratoga, he's been very close to Green Mask, and he beat undrafted.
Yeah, he's a stakes winner at this distance here on the turf as well last year. Pure Sensation is the 3 for Patricia Generazio. Kendrick Carmouche rides for Christophe Clement.
If he's able to deal with the speed of Bold Thunder, they're never going to catch him.
Green Mask is the 4 trained by Brad Cox. Javier Castellano will be aboard the son of Mizzen Mast.
He's an imposing son of Mizzen Mast, and I think he sits the trip in here right behind Bold Thunder, the 8, and Pure Sensation, the 1 to beat.
Mark Cassidy trains Holding Gold for Live Oak Plantation. Hall of Famer John Velasquez aboard.
He's battled with all these horses in here. You know, his one problem, he struggles sometimes out of the gate. He's coming in with a nice bullet drill, and he's getting bet.
Here's the speedster Bold Thunder for Patricia Farrow, owned by Andrew Sully and Paco Lopez aboard.
Most of the time, you don't think a 23-1 has a big outsay what's going to happen or an outcome what's going to happen in this race. This horse has to press the 3 if you're going to like anybody else.
And that is your field here for this 14th running of the Troy Handicap Race 10 here from Saratoga. 3-2 favoritism to Green Mask. He has been ultra consistent, first or second in each of his last 6 starts, coming off a monster win north of the border at Woodbine. The Troy is next from Saratoga.
And they're off in New York. The premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Coda, they won't catch Monin. Monin wins the February Stakes.
You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
Selected sales, superior results. Success starts at Saratoga, the #1 ranked yearling sale in North America.
We found Belmont Stakes winner Taprit at Fasig-Tipton, Saratoga. Where will you be in August?
Before Tepin conquered the world, she was a Fasig-Tipton Saratoga sales graduate. Where will you be this August?
The Fasig-Tipton Saratoga sale, August 7th and 8th. Where will you be?
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
And they're off. NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at nyrabets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on nyrabets.com right in the bet type drop-down menu or at any Nyra track or New York OTB location. NyraBet's Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Back on Saratoga Live, our feature just a few moments away here. 14th running of the Troy Handicap, a sensational field, including Pure Sensation, who was a record holder on the turf at 6 furlongs. Stablemate broke that record. He comes in off a 110 buyer speed figure at Parks at 5 furlongs on the turf. Green Mask right now is a 7-5 favorite. With more on this field, though, let's check in with Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. Standing here in the box seats next to Miss Charlotte Weber with Live Oak, and you sent out Holding Gold here, Charlotte. And I know you trained the mare. How cool is it to see a homebred face graded stakes company and even get to showcase himself here at Saratoga?
Oh, it's very rewarding indeed. I think that the homebreds are more exciting because you have to wait and have all that anxiety. But she was a very nice mare. And so when they're good ones, I bring them home, and hopefully I return with their babies later on.
And talk a little bit about Live Oak, just building the operation so many years ago from the bottom up and where it is today.
I actually bought it close to 50 years ago. Next year will be the 50th anniversary. And we started out with 1,000 acres. Now I have 4,500. And it's concentrated in horses and cattle. And it's a lot of fun. You know, the kids have enjoyed it growing up, and now I've passed those genes on to some of the other children and grandchildren. So, you know, that's what life's about, I think, the good moments.
Absolutely. And Charlotte, just a couple blocks away, it's the Fasig-Tipton sales happening on Monday night and Tuesday night. Is that going to mean a busy week for you?
I think you're right. The sale is Monday. I thought it was Tuesday and Wednesday. I won't say how busy because I know there's a little sale coming up in Kentucky, but I certainly am looking and anxious to find something nice to take home.
As we all are, and best of luck here with Holding Gold.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll head out to Maggie, who's got a nice view of the field trackside.
That I do, Gabby, and I'll take a look at the two coming out of that park stash, beginning with number 3 in here. That is Pure Sensation for Christophe Clement, and he couldn't look any better. He's a horse that continuously holds his physical form very nicely. He moved wonderfully over this track beneath Kendrick Carmouche. He didn't get a real aggressive warm-up, but he got a nice one that should just set him up perfectly for this race. Now, the horse who finished second in there was Mongolian Saturday. Now, you saw he broke the post braid. I can see why. They got to keep him moving. He's actually kind of freezing right now on the track. I'm going to take a gander in that this is not out of the normal for him. He doesn't really want to move. Then he kind of moves and he gets rammy with the pony as they approach the gate. So just one we'll keep an eye on. Obviously, they've done everything they can to kind of stop that. He's going to go on the turf course first, followed by the outrider to make sure he makes his way up to the gate. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. We will continue to keep our eye on Mongolian Saturday. Again, the 2015 Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint winner, but certainly not in the best form of his career when he won that race. Now a 7-year-old. He's on the board at 12-1. Still 3-2 favoritism on Green Mask. Can he go back-to-back? We mentioned that tremendous consistency that he has shown. He's been first or second each of his last 6 starts, including a huge win in the Group 2 Highlander at Woodbine most recently. That was at 6 furlongs. The last time he went 5.5 furlongs, he was beat by the 6 horse in here, Holding Gold. We'll see if the Mark Casse barn can get going with Holding Gold. Heard from Charlotte Weber and Live Oak Plantation. They would love to see a victory for their 4-year-old here. John Velasquez aboard there. He is. In fact, that was the last time he went 5.5 furlongs, and he was victorious. That was down to Keeneland in the Grade 2 Shakertown when he was able to beat the horse who is now our 3-2 favorite on the board right now. As we see Pure Sensation move in line. Kendrick Carmouche aboard here for Christophe Clement. 5 3/4 length win at Parks last time out. Let's send it upstairs for the Troy and the call to Larry Colmus.
Green Mask is moving into the starting gate. Will be followed by Holding Gold. Bold Thunder and Mongolian Saturday will complete the line. Bold Thunder goes in. Here's Mongolian Saturday. He will go up to the outside stall here. Steps forward. Goes in. They're all in line. They're off. In the Troy, and Green Mask comes out running with Mongolian Saturday, Pure Sensation, and Bold Thunder. And now Pure Sensation and Bold Thunder take the lead. Green Mask will sit back with Mongolian Saturday holding gold behind them, and then Undrafted and Long On Value as they race for the far turn. Bold Thunder and Pure Sensation locked in early battle here. These two nose-to-nose through a 21.76 quarter. Green Mask is 2 lengths off of them, running in third. Mongolian Saturday is fourth. And then it's Holding Gold, fifth. Saving Ground on the turn, 5 lengths off the lead. Long On Value is next. Undrafted at the back of the pack. Bold Thunder and Pure Sensation turn for home together. Green Mask is 2 lengths behind, yet to be let loose with 1 furlong to run. And here he comes on the outside, and Long On Value is closing down the center too, along with Holding Gold, as Green Mask takes the lead, leads it by 2 with a 16th to go. Holding Gold second. Long On Value is third as Green Mask wins the Troy. Green Mask won it by 2.5 lengths over Holding Gold. Then it was Long On Value and Undrafted. The final time was 1 minute, 0.49 seconds, 3/100ths of a second off the course record.
Wow, just nearly missing the course record. Green Mask, little redemption after he missed by a neck, as the favorite in this race last year.
Yeah, big performance from the winner and set up well by the pace duel that we anticipated. This time around, Pure Sensation down on the rail, being pinned down there by Bold Thunder on the front end as they went around the turn. And you could see that it took its toll on those horses. The closers came running. Who's the best closer? Green Mask, who also had the best position to get those horses.
And he was close to the base. He was just an hour and a half the best in this race. Pure Sensation, not that he was going to win, but he didn't break well, and we saw him not being able to settle in the gate early. They popped the gate. He broke about a half slow. You can't break a half slow when you're in a situation like him. Green Mask, he is the best horse in this division right now.
Yeah, you make a great point there. You go back and you look at the Shakertown. He should have won that race by about 3 or 4 lengths. It's taken a world record performance to beat him, basically.
When you win a turf sprint like this,
yes,
by open lengths, you are so much the best. Green Mask, Brad Cox, a sensational trainer, has done a great job.
By the way, good job by Long On Value. That was a horse we were talking about. A lot of travel. I think, ran well. Good third.
Yeah, he did good. It's good third.
And what about our winner? So we've got a Breeders' Cup coming up on the turf that oftentimes these turf sprints are different distances depending upon
5 furlongs
where
at
you
Del
are.
Mar.
So we're getting 5/8 of a mile.
I know.
That might be a little different for this horse. He'd much rather it be 5.5.
I think Javier Castellano wants to ride in the Breeders' Cup, Maggie.
Yes, he's very familiar with the Breeders' Cup, to say the least. And also, Javi, how's it feel to win your first stakes as a Hall of Famer?
I feel so great, so excited because, the pressure's coming up a little bit now. You Hall of Fame rider, everybody have a high expectation. You got to do the right thing and show the people who you are.
That's right, and you were very confident in your mount here, a Green Mask, who seems to be just the best turf sprinter, at least on this side of the country.
He's very straightforward horse. I really like the way he did it every time, every single step away. He's fast horse, but at the same time, he got good skill to settle down behind the horses. He was a good setup today, good pace. He's so right behind the horse, and when I asked him, he took off. He did it the right way today.
And you were flying, 3/100ths off the track record. Do you feel like you're going that fast?
Yes, I did. I felt a little breeze in my face. I feel so excited. Just go ride and do the best I can for the horse.
Well, Javier, congratulations. Nice win today in the Troy.
Thanks a lot.
Greg?
Hall of Fame induction on Friday. And now a stakes victory. His first stakes win, as Maggie mentioned, since being inducted into the Hall. Reigning 4-time Eclipse Award-winning jockey on a roll, Javier Castellano, and he is on a good one here at Green Mask. As Andy mentioned, when you win by this kind of margin in a 5.5 furlong sprint, that is just a dominant performance. And again, it was just off the course record. 1 minute and 2/5 here. So Green Mask gets the job done. Holding Gold runs very good, but no match at all for your winner in here. Finishes 4-6-2-1. And Green Mask certainly vaulting to the head of this turf sprint division. And we really thought we were going to have this big showdown between Green Mask and Pure Sensation here in the race, and it just did not develop. Green Mask was just too good. Let's take a look again here at this performance. Javier not needing to do much at this point. Hand ride to the finish as Green Mask doing all the work here underneath him. You see Holding Gold and Long on Value, the two, trying to give chase to no avail. The race was for second, but Holding Gold able to hold second there. Green Mask just much the best here in the Troyan, again avenging his narrow defeat last year to Disco Partner, who again has become a tremendous horse in his own right. Green Mask, though, 3-2 winner and gets the job done. Returns $5 for the win. Brad Cox, your winning trainer, and this son, 6-year-old son of Mizzen Mass. As a 6-year-old, I'm not even sure you can argue this. I think at the best he has ever been in his career. And there's a look at your Hall of Fame, newly minted Hall of Famer, Javier Castellano, part of the class of 2017. As we take a look at the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow-up, it was a huge number to start us off. 20-1 shot with Holding Aces. Manny Franco taking the first 3 legs of this Naira Bets late pick 5 with Holding Aces, Yummy Bear, and Royal Inheritance, who, by the way, Royal Inheritance, very impressive in her own right. She's now reeled off 3 in a row, but Green Mask stealing the show here on this Sunday afternoon here at Saratoga with this incredible performance. Don't forget, still more to come here at Saratoga. We're going to be signing off here in just a couple of moments, but race 11 still to come. You can catch it on the Naira Now app or at naira.com. It is a mile and a 16th over the inner turf. 40,000 claiming race for horses who have not won 2 lifetime, and a major, major scratch in this race. It was a late change. The 12 Escape Velocity, who would have been the favorite for trainer Chad Brown, with Javier aboard. Late scratch that happened a few hours ago, so with him out of that race, it actually becomes a lot better betting race and becomes completely wide open. So you can catch that one on the Naira Now app or on naira.com to catch how the rest of this card plays out. You can watch Saratoga Live replays, expert analysis videos, and workouts on demand, all in HD with the Naira Now app, the ultimate app to keep up with all the action at Saratoga all summer long. Just go to the App Store and search for Naira Now, the app, a free download. So download that free Naira Now app today and see what happens in this nightcap still to come. We hope you enjoyed our Sunday action here from Saratoga. Tough to follow up what we saw in the Whitney, but we tried. It was pretty darn good. In fact, Javier Castellano doing what he could to make it a great show with Green Mask. It was Jockey Legends Day. Some of the biggest names from the past on hand. Angel Cordero, Ramon Dominguez among them. And we saw a big performance from a real nice young filly, Royal Inheritance. In race 9, she's reeled off 3 in a row. But stealing the show, Green Mask back-to-back wins. We will see you on Monday with more Saratoga Live. Have a great weekend.